All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres, Dodgers last night. Padres actually had to come from behind victory, winning 11-8 after trailing by 5 runs in that game. Juan Soto had a clutch hit in that game, 3-run homer in the 9th inning. Game 2 of that series tonight at Dodger Stadium, 7:10 first pitch. Michael Wacha on the mound for the Padres. Other news of the Padres today, they placed Rich Hill on waivers. Great trade by AJ Preller there. And Aztecs, they take on Oregon State this Saturday afternoon. Our pregame coverage starts at 10:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Staples has big savings on everything for school or the office. Save on school essentials like notebooks, pens, and crayons. In stock and backed by Staple Price Match Guarantee. In store only. Visit staples.com/price match for details. School on, save on at Staples.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 1 of Jon and Jim. We've got a really good show lined up for you today with great giveaways, including tickets to the Pacific Air Show. We gave those away yesterday. We will again today. We also have a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. We'll give those away over the next couple of hours as well. And Dave Velasquez, longtime assistant coach at San Diego State. Aztecs men's basketball schedule is out. Dave Velasquez, longtime friend of the show, he'll swing by coming up at 3:30. Jon and Jim back with you. Padres, like you just mentioned in the update. And I'm glad we just heard there in the open about Peter Seidler, how we're going to need to hear from him. This isn't about, like Jim just said in the update, hey, they had a nice night. And Juan Soto had a clutch home run. And Manny Machado it doesn't matter. And I hate to put it that way. I really do. Because you'd rather win than lose, I think, when you're facing the Dodgers. But what matters right now is when I see around baseball, Jim, I hate to do this, but I got to credit the New York Mets. We said this repeatedly for weeks on end. At least they know who they are, and they've been decisive. And they sold at the deadline because they knew they had no realistic shot of doing anything worthy this year. And now they've hired a general manager, considered one of the better hires of like the last decade. They go and get David Stearns, who had been with the Brewers, and they bring him in. And it's like they're doing things decisively. They made changes in their front office a couple of weeks ago, right? We've heard from their owner, Steve Cohen.
Changes, yeah.
We heard from Steve Cohen. It's like, and then you got the Padres, who, like, what are the Padres trying to be? Are they trying to sell tickets? I had this conversation with you months ago. If they're in the marketing business, they've done really well. They've sold a lot of tickets, but are they trying to sell tickets or are they trying to win at a really high level? And you got to at least ask yourself that. You see what the Mets have done here with a haywire season, and they've had decisive moves. And you look what the Padres have done, Jim, and they've had like Xander Bogaerts bobbleheads and played in front of large crowds, which is great. But is that getting them any closer to where we want them to go, which is deep into the postseason?
Yeah, we had this discussion,
I think a while ago.
I forget when it was. It was the trade deadline because both the teams were in the same spot. And one shows the path of, okay, we're cutting all of our losses here. We're not going to have this false hope. We're getting rid of contracts that are bad contracts, and we're changing direction really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Padres didn't do that at all. They went the complete opposite direction, and they made trades for the sake of making trades. Now, none of them have panned out at all. Shocker. Who saw that coming? And at the time, we had the discussion of, all right, this will be very interesting to see in like 2-3 years where
who's ahead of
where the Mets are and where the Padres are, because the Mets got a top-ranked prospect for Verlander. They got a couple good prospects for Scherzer. They freed up a bunch of money. They're essentially, from what Max Scherzer said, punting on next season as well. and kind of regrouping and retooling and restocking and not going out and being reckless and spending a bunch of money just for the sake of spending money because they have it. And shiny objects. I love to sign shiny objects, like the Padres have done here. And we'll see in a couple of years where the Mets are and where the Padres are. But as of right now, it does feel like the direction of the Mets and the Padres, like if I was a Mets fan, I think after what's happened this year, I'd be extremely disappointed and I'd be upset with it. But I also would look at it as, okay, the time for being upset, I think, is over. You see the moves they've made. I'm on board with those, or at least I'm going to see these things out because they seem very competent and smart. Unlike the Padres, which have maintained that they're still in it and that they have gone on the path of false hope. And now you're in the gutter and you're going to lose Snell and Hader for nothing. You're going to finish the season under 500 with no considerable prospects like ready to go right now. It's an interesting yin and yang and dynamic between the Mets and the Padres, and what the Mets did today, hiring a new president of baseball operations, who is viewed as somebody around baseball that it's a good hire.
Well, look at it this way. I mean, even if you don't think AJ Preller should go, right? Even if you don't advocate for AJ Preller to be dismissed at the end of the season, you cannot compare AJ Preller's accomplishments to Andrew Friedman's, for example, in LA with both the Rays and now the Dodgers, right? Fair. Can't compare them. You can't compare David Stern's accomplishments with the Brewers on that payroll and budget to what AJ Preller's accomplished here. Is that fair? Mm-hmm. So if nothing else, even if you think AJ Preller deserves more of an opportunity, should not be dismissed, the problem is there's other teams around baseball with better leaders running their front office. I think we can all agree on that. And, you got to wonder, like, it's about keeping up with the Joneses. Like, if Andrew Friedman is running circles around you, if David Stearns is going to put the Mets in a position that's better than the Padres, like, again, what are you trying to do? If you're trying to spend money, if you're trying to make big swings and big splashes, they've been successful in doing that. But if you're trying to consistently win and build a franchise that can compete for World Series, that's a massive question mark. Again, you can like AJ Preller and say he's done good things, but you can also say he's not the guy to bring a World Series title to the city of San Diego.
Yep. And we come in today coming off of probably their best win of the year, right? Probably their best win of the year as far as trailing in that game 7-2, coming all the way back to tie it up, and then having one of your big four have a massive moment in the ninth inning with a 3-run home run with, I believe, was there 2 outs in that inning? 1 out, 2 outs? I think it might have been 1 out.
I think it was 1 out.
There was 1 out. And then you had Xander Bogaerts at the home run, and it was an adventure, but Josh Hader got the job done. They got the win, and that, is going to be viewed in a miserable season as one of the best wins of the year. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We come in today talking about like what the Mets have done today, and something that you want to hopefully see the Padres do is kind of what the Mets are doing after this failure of a season. But hey, guess what? We're probably not going to get that because Peter Seidler doesn't want to cut his losses here with AJ Preller because he thinks he's excellent.
I would say this, and to your point, it's like nobody in New York is talking about the Mets 4-3 loss to the Diamondbacks yesterday. They're all talking about the hiring of David Stearns, this young executive who did really
Aaron
good
Rodgers.
things with the. But I'm saying that's a Mets fan,
right? Yes.
That's a Mets fan. They're all talking about obviously the hiring of David Stearns. So like that's the story. I don't care whatever the Padres do from here on out. It's like your attention is going down the wrong path if that's what you're concerned about. I don't care if Manny Machado hits 300 from here on out. I don't care if Manny Machado is shut down. I would make the argument he should be shut down from this point moving forward. None of the last 17 games mean anything. The only thing that means something, and I'm glad you mentioned Peter, I would just say this. I'm not thoroughly convinced, just because he told Kevin Acee in the UT now over 2 months ago, I think it was the 1st of July or the last day of June, that AJ is excellent and he's all for stability, and you sent out the quotes yesterday on social media. I'm not overly convinced that is the last word on the matter. What he said June 30th or July 1st, I'm not overly convinced that holds all of the direction of what he's thinking once this thing comes to an end. I mean, it's gotten only worse from there. He envisioned it turning around. He said that in the article. Mm-hmm. He thought there was enough baseball to be played, that the expectation was the Padres would find themselves in playoff contention. That never happened. Humans are allowed to change their minds. It happens all the time. I'm not going to be overly shocked if Peter Seidler does an about face. I think a lot of people will. I think you will be. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to be overly shocked if he does an about face based on what's happened here this year. Am I crazy?
You're not crazy, because I think it could happen, but I give the percentage of that happening like very low.
So that's great. Like 2% or like 22%?
Like less than 5%.
Less than so you think there's a 95+% chance AJ Preller's back next year?
Yeah. I think it's close. I think it's pretty close to almost a lock that he's back.
Just based on that July article?
Yeah, I do. I mean, those are some strong words, John. Strong words. Now, hey, look, I talk about this all the time because we get crap for it all the time. And, people tweet at me like, hey, remember when you guys were super excited when they signed Bogarts and they re-signed Manny Machado? Now you say those are horrible moves. You guys are idiots. Because guess what? Opinions change. Does anybody realize that in this world? Like, you can have an opinion on something and then you can, change your opinion. Like,
well, we have to have opinions.
Right. I mean, but the changing of opinions, that's what I can do if I want to. I can change my opinion and nobody can tell me otherwise. Peter Seidler, he can change his opinion for sure. But I don't know if he's going to. Like, I don't know if he's going to have that in him to officially change his opinion and the course of this franchise with AJ Preller. I don't think he has it in him. I just don't. And it's unfortunate because I like Peter a lot. And I think Peter has done some fantastic things here for this franchise. Things that no other owner of the San Diego Padres has ever done. But unfortunately, for the things that he has said recently about, AJ Preller, and him probably bringing AJ Preller back for another season and giving him another opportunity to hire another manager, then I'm sorry, Peter, you are now in the category of problems. Like, you are now in the I'm a problem category.
Well, that's an if. That's if he brings him back, and I agree with you. But okay, there's been so much discussion of what he said about AJ Preller being excellence, and I'm all for stability. And I think it's crazy that you can have a bad half season and the media and the fans freak out. I'm paraphrasing. He also said that day to Kevin, we have half the season to play. He says, I'm on the train that says we're going to catch up. Well, guess what?
The train broke down.
So like that's the thing. Like
off the rails.
But he was going off just a half season of data. Now that he has more, like he's got more than enough at this point to say, what's happened? What's happened is we didn't do what I expected this team to do. Mm-hmm. My belief was this was a team that was capable of making a run. We never went on that run. So there's got to be accountability for that. Mm-hmm. So he can still say he's all for stability. AJ Preller's had 9 years.
Yeah.
Now, where it's going to be a problem is he said AJ is excellence. I don't know how you get underneath that or out from underneath that. Kind of like how AJ Preller said that Jace Tingler I envision as a 10-year manager with the organization. Then he fired him 6 weeks later. But guess what? Nobody cares. Does anyone talk about that? Hey, Preller fired Tingler. Hey, Seidler may get rid of Preller. So what? This is how professional sports work. What did Nick Saban say before he took the Alabama job? I'm not taking the Alabama job. And then he took it a day later. Yeah. And does anyone talk about it? Not really. They talk about his success in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah. And it's like, it's such a weird feeling today because they beat the Dodgers last night. And we talked about this on the wrap-up show. When the Padres play the Dodgers, it's no coincidence that we see spikes in numbers. Like we see our numbers on YouTube go up. We see our numbers on stream, and we see our numbers for social media. But like playing the Dodgers is a huge deal, especially the last couple of years. And last night's win should be viewed, and it should in a normal, competent year, as one of the best wins of the season. I keep going back to this, and how it doesn't matter. And the only thing that it matters with this team right now is what Peter Seidler says about this year. And if I'm Peter and I hear that, Nobody cares about you guys beating the Dodgers last night. Nobody cares that you came back from 5 runs down. Nobody cares that Juan Soto had a 3-run home run in the 9th inning of a tied game against the Dodgers closer to beat them at Dodger Stadium. Nobody cares about that. All they care about is you, Peter. And all they care about is what you're going to say about this team's failures this year. And that, to me, is such a crazy thing to like grasp, that what happened last night at Dodger Stadium in a vacuum was awesome. But in the macro of things means nothing.
Well, even in the moment, dude, even in the vacuum. I mean, hear me out for a second. And I hate to discredit a win like this, but I'm going to do it anyway. The Dodgers are completely rolling. There's no one at Dodger Stadium. They're pitching Stone. Dave Roberts, who makes every pitching move in the world, gives Stone, whoever the hell this guy is, 5 1/3 innings to allow 7 runs. It would never happen in a meaningful game. There's no possible world in which Stone would be pitching in the 6th inning, right, having allowed 5 or 6 runs. As in, the Dodgers treated this the same way the Padres are treating it. It's almost like a spring training game. Dodgers know they're the 2 seed in the National League. Okay? Yeah. Padres know they're out. How do I know these games are meaningless? I'm looking at Dodger Stadium. It's half full. When the game ends, there's 12,000 people there. Now, to your point, if I'm Peter Seidler, all I got to do is see all those indicators and say, enough is enough. The reason I'm making a change is, to your point, everyone, even in San Diego, this baseball-centric town, post-Chargers, even in San Diego, everyone's moved on. There's 20 games left, 17 now. Dude. And everyone's moved on, despite the fact that you're beating the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium, because they know it's a mirage. It doesn't matter.
And it's how they won last night. It's not that they beat the Dodgers last night. It's how they won, something they haven't done all year long. That was honestly the first clutch hit I can remember in the 9th inning or the 8th inning or later on the road.
It's been a while.
Since, I mean, I can't even name another one.
There was a Yankee Stadium moment, yeah.
Or something like that was, and he's not even on the team anymore.
Right.
So that should tell you all you need to know, Peter, is that with what happened last night against the team up north, right? As he likes to refer to them, he doesn't like to call them the Dodgers, the team up north. And nobody really cares about it. Like, that should tell you all you need to know, Peter, of how disastrous this is how quickly this turned sour on you, how bad of a season you just had. And if you think running it back is going to change things, you might get lucky, but I rather go off of other things other than hope and luck.
And here's the other thing to that point. I'm glad you mentioned it. It's like when you have high expectations, you're basically in a high risk, high reward game.
Mm-hmm.
Pays off, you're in a World Series. You're in the NLCS last year. You spent a lot of money. You could make a World Series. You could win it. Amazing, the possibilities. But when it doesn't pan out, then you got to be, there's an expectation for real change. Like the upside was so real that the downside has to lead to change. There were people expecting this team, and I think realistically so. This wasn't like fans of the Royals thinking they were going to win the World Series. Padres fans expecting the Padres to go to the World Series this year, off of last year and the additions, made sense. To not only not make the World Series, but not make the postseason, and not only not make the postseason, but finish under 500 and be under 500 from May 10th on, is unbelievable. So what are you going to do to correct that error? And I think, to your point, you can't just say, well, we'll run it back because we thought we had a really good team in 2023, and now we're going to do the same thing in 2024. No, there's got to be a consequence, and a severe one, to missing this badly. When you throw a dart at a dartboard and it ends up on a different wall, like
or that's like it literally hits someone's shoulder.
You know, that's basically, they weren't shooting for 75 wins. They were shooting for the World Series. That's a big miss.
You think?
You can't miss more than that.
No, you can't.
You really can't miss more than that.
You can't miss more than that. I mean, we're coming in here after a game against the Dodgers on the road you won.
Right.
And people are like, whatever.
Yeah. Well, did you see Aaron Rodgers?
Like, oh, Aaron Rodgers.
See his Achilles?
I mean, how many people actually watched last night, too?
That's a great question.
Like, honestly, I would love to see, and you'll never see it, but the ratings decline of how many people are actually watching the Padres right now.
Which, again, makes sense because people are smart. You know, at some point, you got to, the investment in baseball.
Cut your loss, man.
The investment in baseball, as we know, because we cover the Padres every single day, and then we do it on YouTube every single night. there's such a real investment that you're asking people for like 180 days, 3 or 4 hours at a time. You're asking people literally for thousands of hours. You're asking people for more time with the Padres than they spend with their families, right? I mean, you're asking them for something real. And at some point, people are going to say, I got to move on with my life. If you guys have moved on with 2023, they're making decisions based on 2024 right now. They're sitting Manny Machado. They're sitting Fernando Tatis Jr., not last night. They're putting players on waivers. They're thinking about 2024, which is understandable. And that's what's going to happen with Padres fans. They're going to start thinking about 2024 too.
The people have already started thinking about 2024. And I go back to like, hey, they told you that they quit in games. So if you're a fan, I don't blame you if you quit on this team. If you say, hey, look, that's enough for me to say I'm out. If I'm going to hear stuff like that from the clubhouse about how you give up on games and you quit on series and you're in September and you're
it's a long season
done, right? You have a 0.01% chance of making the postseason. It probably should just be a 0 because they're not even going to get close. And why should I watch? Why should I watch these games? Like that's another thing that should be a big alarm to Peter Seidler is that you now have people saying, why should I watch these games? Why? Give me a reason to watch, because right now, everything I've heard and seen from this team tells me otherwise.
Well, I'll be watching for Blake Snell, and that's about it. Well, are you watching in September or not? 844-570-1360, 70470 started with team. Of course, we'll get back to the Padres. We were on the air when Aaron Rodgers got hurt yesterday. Much more on that ahead as well. But Dave Velasquez, longtime San Diego State men's basketball assistant, the Aztecs 2023-24 schedule is out. Dave Velasquez will join us on the other side. We'll talk about that schedule, expectations coming off a national championship game appearance, great giveaways today. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us on Jon and Jim.
What's up, guys? I got some super. Here we go. Hold on. Boom. A live chat during the break here.
What's up, guys? Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you, Matthew. It says, please re-sign Soto. Way better to have Tatis and Soto for the next 12 years. I agree with you. I would want Soto back. I'd rather have a Soto Tatis core than a Manny Bogart core.
Would you rather re-sign Soto? Here's a question for the chat. Would you rather re-sign Soto now or risk, so to speak, is like walk-year? Would you let it, let's see what happens in 2024 before re-signing him? Like, you want to go into the offseason and say, hey, I'm prepared to give him $400 million off this or $450 million off this. Everyone wants Soto long-term, but you want to give him $400 million? I don't know. Is he a $400 million player when you got $350 million for Machado and $340 for Tatis and $280 for Bogart? Who's going to pick?
I almost want to let it play out.
Jake Cronenworth?
Yeah. Thanks for the super, Matt. Another one from Matthew says we need to invest in development. I agree on that. And a hitting coach like Big Papi or Barry Bonds. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, I put so little of this on the hitting coach and so much of this on the lack of performance. Like you saw Kevin's article about how the Dodgers' big four have all produced. When you look at some of these batting averages, the bats, Freeman's hitting like 336 or whatever he's hitting. These guys produce and they come through with men in scoring position. I can't put Manny Machado's struggles for the season on a hitting coach. He's making $350 million. He's a Hall of Fame caliber player. Same thing with, Soto, 24-year-old.
Yeah,
he's already won a World Series. It's generational. That's Ryan Flaherty's fault. He hasn't hit,
Yeah, this team. They can't get a hitting coach right if their life depended on it. So yeah, thanks for the super chat, Matthew. If you guys want to, support the channel, send in super chats. We'll get to all your super chats during the break. Also, remember, become a member of the channel. Memberships are now available. We do special membership viewings and live chats. Mondays, one Monday during the month if you become a member. So become a member now. You get special badges and emojis. You can, tell me I suck or whatever.
You could do that either way.
Yeah, either way.
Even without becoming a member.
Yeah, so become a member now. Make sure to hit the like button. And if you want to send a super chat in, they'll be greatly appreciated. We'll get them all during the break.
Look, I just told you suck.
Thanks. Until then, see you on the other side.
into it in a moment with Dave Velasquez, longtime Aztec assistant. We have tickets to give away today to the Pacific Air Show. That's coming to Huntington Beach, Friday, September 29th to Sunday, October 1st. Bringing more sky-high action and nonstop thrills than ever before. GA tickets only $25 plus booking fees. PacificAirshow.com. We'll give those away coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. But just mentioned it. Schedule is out. San Diego State coming off a Final Four appearance and a national title game appearance will open Monday, November 6th against Cal State Fullerton. Non-conference schedule completely loaded. And Dave Velasquez, longtime San Diego State assistant, back with us here on Jon and Jim. And Coach, it's great to have you. We've been looking forward to the schedule for a long time. It's another challenging out-of-conference schedule. Is this right there with one of the more challenging schedules you've ever had out of conference?
Yeah, whether we like it or not, to be honest, we have challenged ourselves as much as any other team in the country in our non-conference, and we got to be good, and we got to be good early. And we were playing some big-time teams and some big-time events, and that's what we want. You know, we've always said at San Diego State we want to play the best, to consider ourselves the best, and that's how we have started to load our non-conference schedule, and it prepares us for the Mountain West. And our goal every year is to win the Mountain West League Championship. And one of the best ways to do that is prepare yourself for the non-conference.
And with the non-conference schedule that you have, is that an indicator of how good you think your team could be matching up against some of the best programs in the country?
We'd like to say that we challenge hard and we feel like we're going to be pretty good, but we think we're pretty good year in and year out now. I mean, we've continued to challenge ourselves, and we've been doing it for a while now, but yeah, we feel like, we're on that playing field where we should be able to compete with anybody. And the way we prepare in our summers and the way that we attack every day right now, moving through October, and got a scrimmage that's not on that schedule, a closed door scrimmage in the third week of October versus Arizona State. We have a chance to, prepare ourselves to hopefully have a great season. And our guys have put in a lot of work since the final shot out in Houston, and we're going to continue to put in that work as we move through the non-conference.
Dave Velasquez with us right now, longtime San Diego State men's basketball assistant. Again, the Aztecs open November 6th against Cal State Fullerton, the regular season opener, literally a banner night, banner raising night at Viejas Arena, Monday, November 6th against Cal State Fullerton. So like every year, Coach, as you know, whether you're coming off a national championship game or not, you're going to have changes. It's college basketball, right? No team is ever the exact same year in and year out. So how do you feel about the complexion of this roster heading into the year and the way this team has looked in summer and now early fall practices?
Yeah, we're excited, but there's no coach right now, and there's no coach in the country that feels very confident with their team as of today. But with the way the roster has been put together, we added some really good pieces. One of the things that's going to take time to fill some gaps with the defensive presence, obviously starting with Nathan Mensah, but Guoka Rope and Adam Seiko and Keyshawn Johnson. I mean, those are four guys that found themselves in the kind of last play of games, needing the big stop. I mean, if we all remember that was AG that came over and made that block in the Final Four game versus Florida Atlantic. And, it's a huge hole that we're going to have to fill in the defensive end of the floor. Offensively, we really like our team. We like our pieces. We like the versatility. We have some guys on our team that even were on our team last year, Elijah Saunders, Miles Bird, that we're going to rely on, and adding Reese Waters and Jay Powell from Campbell. And, we have some guys that can really come in and add some offensive firepower. But we are definitely going to have to fill some of those holes that were left with the defensive presence on that side of the floor. But San Diego State, we've been known for our defense. And we're going to continue to emphasize that every single day of practice in our film sessions, with how we carry ourselves, with how we prepare. But, yeah, there's going to be some massive holes to fill on that defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, there always is every year when you lose players. But as far as the players that you mentioned there, Coach, who do you expect, to make that leap, or who should the fans look at as like a guy that, okay, he's going to make an impact, or we expect him to make an impact on this upcoming season?
Yeah, outside of the four returners, and those four returners are big time players.
Yeah,
and the ones that I'm referring to are the Darian Trammell, Lamont Butler, Jaden Ledee, Micah Parrish. I mean, those guys have already proven to do it in our jersey, in our arena, in our system on both sides of the ball. But honestly, I mean, it's right now it's hard to say just one guy. I mean, again, it's easy to point at the guys that have done it at the Division I level, mentioning Reese and Jay Powell. But again, Miles Bird and Elijah Saunders know what we've been doing. DeMarshe Johnson's another kid who's came a long way. And then you got to add the freshmen and Heidi and BJ Davis. And, you know, there's just a lot of pieces out there for us. There really is. And I wish in the, you know, second week of September that I could give you guys just someone to pinpoint. But it kind of changes day after day of guys that have stepped up and guys that have proven to be ready to go or shown really good flashes of, okay, this could be something special once he gets comfortable.
Dave Velasquez with us right now, San Diego State men's basketball assistant. So, coaches, you know, you'd hear Dutch a lot, maybe second half of the year through the NCAA tournament, when asked by the media, whether locally or nationally, that he would often say that Jaden Ledee was just scratching the surface. And of course, he had some massive moments last year, including in the NCAA tournament. I think people forget before Lamont Butler shot, there were Jaden Ledee shots against FAU to put San Diego State in that spot. When we say scratching the surface with someone like Jaden, or when you see his role changing here in 2023-24, what could Aztec fans see from Jaden, both ends of the floor, but maybe more specifically on offense? What should Aztec fans expect to see from Jaden as his game continues to open up?
You know, first and foremost, he's just a matchup nightmare because he's so strong, he's so big, and he's such a relentless offensive rebounder that, you know, he can really take advantage of bigger guys by his speed and his ability to face up and score, which he did in the game that you're referring to. And he did that quite a bit for us last year. And then, you know, if we can continue to improve his perimeter game, he lives in the gym. I mean, the guy is such a workhorse. We have to, one of those guys, you got to tell him, Jaden, don't work out 3-4 times a day. Like, be ready to go for practice, but still put your time in. But, you know, he's a guy who lives in the gym. He's an absolute gym rat. He loves the game of basketball. He works so hard every single day. And so there'll definitely be a massive more role for Jaden offensively than what you might have saw last year. And again, last year was there's so many pieces of guys that could play inside and outside for us. But, you know, Jaden's going to be a guy we rely on a lot more offensively to kind of play through and get some touches where he can score. And then if he gets double teamed, then he can kick out. He's got shooters all around him. And so, yeah, we're expecting a much bigger role for Jaden. And Coach Fletcher was right that we got some last year, and we've seen great growth from Jaden over the past couple months of being together.
And moving over to Lamont, you know, coming off the big shot in the Final Four, obviously, for him to take that next leap, what does he need to do this upcoming season?
I mean, again, it's not just Lamont, but it's, you know, it's Darion Jamel and Lamont Butler just continuing to lead the team from that guard spot in ways to make others better. And not only just take care, you know, like we've seen it, Lamont's one of the best downhill guards in the country. He can get to that mid-range. That's something he added in his game last year that really opened up the game for him. Continue to shoot the three ball better, but just, you know, continue to be that point guard that always can find guys late at the rim, find guys like Micah Parrish, you know, lifting out of the corner, and Reese Waters on a kick out, you know, hit guys shots and find guys, you know, on the perimeter. You know, it's something that Lamont and Darren can continue to get better at, because when they do have the ball in their hands, they are both so dynamic. And it's something, you know, that we're going to rely on them to do a lot. We relied on both of them a lot last year.
Coach, before you go, I read the article from Mark Ziegler about how Kate Alger gets put on scholarship. We all saw the video, really cool moment for him. He's been in the program a long time. He's done a lot behind the scenes that I think Aztec fans don't necessarily realize. But then you read in the piece, and it goes back to like the culture that's been established about how Nathan Mensah, right, who's now playing professionally in the NBA, calls Kate and says, "Hey, listen, congratulations, and your hard work did not go unnoticed by someone like myself." I mean, when you read something like that, and you're probably aware of it, but when you see your players make decisions like that, you know, what does that mean to you and the coaching staff?
I mean, to me personally, you know, that's something that we take a lot of pride in. You know, it makes me incredibly happy. You know, it's something we believe in. We feel it with all our former guys. You know, it's family. You know, and I'm the first to tell you that not just our former players, but our staff. I mean, it truly is family for me and Coach Dutcher, and for them to be able to feel that family atmosphere And, Coach Dutcher, I thought one of his best lines throughout the NCAA tournament was about culture. And when we talk about when we have recruits come in, it's probably the least amount of word that we use because it's just who we are. And you start to go around the room and you start to say, he's been here this long, he's been here this long, he's been here, and it's just something that's that we truly live by. It's not something we need to talk about all the time. It's just who we are and how we live. But when Coach Dutcher said, all these teams are up here and they're talking about culture, we're going to change our culture, and they've been there 2-3 years. He says, culture's being somewhere for 24 years. That's culture. Culture's, having an identity that everybody can preach to after 24 years. And so, yeah, the culture of what we have and it truly feeling like family, it's so much bigger than basketball. Basketball is incredibly important in all our lives, but it's not the end all be all by any means. We all care about each other. We all root for each other. It's so exciting to see how excited our guys get when we tell them, like a guy like Adam Seiko gets a job in Germany and he's following on. You see their response, on social media and Matt Bradley and how much they just root for our guys. And, Keyshawn Johnson come back for that ring ceremony. I mean, it's just the genuine love we all have for each other. It's just special. And it's something that will never go away. And something that we're going to continue to have in this program. We're going to bring the right type of character of people in to fit who we are and fit our culture. And obviously we're going to try to continue to win a lot of games at the same time. But at the end of the day, that family means more to us than maybe anything else.
Well, believe it or not, Coach, you are entering your 22nd season at San Diego State yourself. And correct me if I'm wrong, that means you've spent more than half your life affiliated with San Diego State University, which is truly incredible. Dave Velasquez, we're looking forward to it, obviously, November 6th. There's much more before that. Scrimmages, exhibitions, the opener, November 6th. Thank you. As always, we'll do it again before the start of the season. And thanks for taking time for us here on San Diego Sports 760.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys, and go Aztecs.
All right, Dave Velasquez, one of the great guys affiliated with San Diego State. It's been our pleasure to have him on a number of times over the years. All right, remember our bold predictions for week 1? Yeah, I didn't necessarily do perfectly. All right, so what were our bold predictions in NFL week 1? We'll share those with you. How did we do? Plus, what's next now for Aaron Rodgers? What's next for the Jets as well? Stay with us. It's Jon and Jim. Will we ever see Aaron Rodgers again on a football field? Plus, reliving our bold predictions from week 1 in the NFL next. All right, next hour, we will give away a pair of tickets to the Pacific Air Show. GA tickets, only $25 plus booking fees, pacificairshow.com. We'll give away some tickets next hour. We'll also give away a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream between now and 6 p.m. That is at SeaWorld San Diego. All right, we made bold predictions. Do you remember your bold predictions? Because I have them.
I only remember one of them that I said Anthony Richardson would be the best rookie quarterback of the weekend.
Okay, so here's some NFL
I think
music.
that hit.
Let's go through one at a time. You were good on Anthony Richardson. This was just for week 1, by the way. This wasn't, hey, this is going to happen this year in the NFL. This was week 1. You said Anthony Richardson was going to have the best weekend for a rookie quarterback. He was good. So that's a good prediction. Brent's first. What did you have, Brent? Give me one. It's in the rundown.
That CJ Stroud and Bryce Young would struggle.
So you kind of hit on that too, right?
Yeah.
That's a good prediction.
Yep.
Yeah, Bryce Young was 20 of 38 for 146, 1 touchdown, 2 picks.
Yeah, it's not great.
Was the other Stroud was okay. He was 28 of 44 for 242, and but he didn't no touchdowns.
No, I think that was good. Now, here's where the predictions go south.
Just a little
My
bit.
first bold prediction on Friday was that Aaron Rodgers was going to have more passing yards. Yeah, that's what I should have said. Was going to have more passing yards than Josh Allen. Aaron Rodgers literally did not have a passing yard for the season. He played like the fewest snaps of a starting quarterback in NFL history in a season. It's that crazy.
He picked up the win because he was the starting quarterback last night. Did you know that?
I did not realize that.
Because he was the starting quarterback.
He's credited with the win.
Credited with the win.
But in fantasy football, people needed like 1 point. He gave them 0.
In all of DraftKings and like FanDuel's.
They did some refunds.
Underdog. One of the they give you these free bets and it's like he's like a half a passing yard, right? And that's what it was for Aaron Rodgers last night.
If you had a half passing yard, you'd be a winner.
Yep.
He didn't have it.
Didn't even have one.
Oh, What a disaster. So anyway, that bold prediction was kind of bold because he's going to miss the rest of the year.
Ugh.
Potentially the rest of his career.
And we'll talk about that coming up, but just brutal.
Just brutal.
I said the Broncos will look competent on offense.
That didn't really happen, did it?
No. I think, dude, is it a bold prediction to say Russell Wilson's washed?
He's tired.
Like
no,
he's
it's not a bold prediction.
Like he's 100% washed and
That's
done.
what most people would probably say.
Okay, I think it's a good prediction.
We need to give it more than 1 week this year, I think, with Sean Payton, but it has not been good for back-to-back seasons, essentially.
I think he's washed, man.
It's going to take a little bit of time to undo all the Hackettness that happened last year.
Yeah.
Brian, what was your other bold predictions?
Let's see. The Colts running game would struggle so much that they would cave in to Jonathan Taylor's demands. They haven't caved into his demands yet, but their running game was non-existent. Anthony Richards was their leading rusher. He had 10 carries for 40 yards. Running back wise, their second leading rusher had 13 carries for 14 yards.
Yeah, not great. Is that not great?
No,
it's almost like they could use Jonathan Taylor.
Yes,
almost like that.
Almost. So I'd say that I was half right.
No, I think that's pretty good. So remember, my first prediction was Aaron Rodgers was going to have a huge night. He didn't.
Well, he did, but just not in a good way.
Exactly. My second prediction was the Giants were going to steal the show on Sunday Night Football.
Oops.
They didn't. They lost 40-0. I said they would win outright as a 3.5-point home dog. And I was 0 for my first 2.
And I thought the Dolphins would blow out the Chargers. Now
they did win.
They just ran up the offensive numbers as far as Tua went, and Tyreek was unguardable in that game. The question is, like, why is Brandon Staley even there if he's the defensive guru?
It's the Chargers. Does anyone care? Someone has to be the head coach.
I hope the Chargers give him an extension,
right?
Because he sucks.
They're not going to do better on the other side.
No,
it's the Chargers.
No.
But that was your one prediction you got right.
I did get that right.
You said they were going to do something Charger.
They would charge it.
They chargered.
And they honestly did, because if you consider this real quick, not only did the Dolphins have this game-winning score with long plays to Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins missed an extra point. It's set up for the Chargers to just go like 30 yards to kick a field goal. They couldn't even do that. No. They would have won the game with a field goal. They had 2 minutes to play. They couldn't even do that. They lose at home to the Dolphins in week 1. And Brent, what was your final bold prediction?
That OBJ was going to have 3 touchdown catches from Jackson. He only had 2 catches
from Lamar Jackson. Yeah, it didn't work out that well.
All right, but these were
maybe next week.
These were pretty bad for me.
Very bad. Yeah,
they were decent from you guys. But that's the whole point of bold predictions, where John was wrong.
Yeah, I think we could go even bolder, to be honest with you.
These were okay. We can go bolder. Week 2 we'll go bolder.
I think we'll go bolder because
I like it.
There's a couple in there that I feel like we're just like safe. If we're gonna go bold, we got to go bold.
Okay, we'll go bolder in week 2. Colin Cowherd has weighed in on the injury to Aaron Rodgers.
Is he okay?
We will as well.
Is he okay?
Aaron Rodgers or Colin Cowherd?
Both.
No, he'll be fine.
Colin's fine.
Yeah, Colin.
I don't know about Aaron
anyways,
but Colin's fine.
I just know that Colin uses Aaron for a lot of
content
and content. So without Aaron Rodgers for a full year in a
Baker
Jets uniform,
Mayfield's still in the NFL.
That is true.
And Kyrie Irving is still in the NBA.
But we also know that
Kevin Durant's
still in the NBA.
We know that Aaron Rodgers, he gets the spikes.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
On the other side, we'll get to the wrap. We will. I mean, the Aaron Rodgers thing is, if you weren't laughing, you'd be crying about it. If you're a Jets fan and 4 plays into your season is over, even with the game being as great as it was. It was a great game, but look at their schedule. The season's over for the Jets. We'll react to that. Plus, you're going to hear from Colin Cowherd. Plus, next hour, we'll give away Pacific Air Show tickets. In the 5 o'clock hour, we'll give away a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream coming up later this month at SeaWorld San Diego. It's hour 2 of Jon and Jim, and it's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres Dodgers, game 2 of their 3-game series tonight at Dodger Stadium. 7:10 first pitch. Michael Wacha on the mound for the Padres. Other news with the Padres today, they put Rich Hill on waivers. Last night, NFL, Aaron Rodgers' season is officially over. It's a torn Achilles. He'll be out for the remainder of the season. And the Aztecs, they take on Oregon State this Saturday afternoon, 12:30 kickoff. Our pregame coverage starts at 10:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760. Staples has big savings on everything for school or the office. Save on school essentials like notebooks, pens, and crayons in stock and backed by Staples Price Match Guarantee. In store only, visit staples.com/price match for details. School on, save on at Staples.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? It's hour 2 of Jon and Jim, and this hour we'll give away a pair of tickets to the Pacific Air Show. It's returning to Huntington Beach Friday, September 29th to Sunday, October 1st. It's bringing more sky-high action and nonstop thrills than ever before. GA tickets only $25 plus booking fees, pacificairshow.com. Also, in the 5 o'clock hour, we will give away a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream coming to SeaWorld San Diego. There was something you just said in the update that reminded me of something.
What did I say?
Okay, so you said San Diego State's playing Oregon State Saturday at 12:30. We'll get to the wrap in a second.
Correct.
So Brady Hoke had his press conference today. You guys are going to find this fascinating.
Oh, okay.
Okay, nobody knows about this unless you're at this press conference. I'm sure Kirk Kenney is going to write about it because he was asking questions about it because it's interesting. So Brady starts talking about, hey, it's 12:30 kick, which is relatively early, but he's all for it. He loves afternoon early kicks. And he says, the other thing is we're staying in Portland, which is like an hour and 40 from Corvallis. And then people are like, well, why are you staying in Portland, not Eugene, which is closer, or Corvallis? Now, these are smaller towns in Oregon. So the hotel we used to stay at burned down. So literally, it's a hotel in Eugene, the Valley River Inn. It's like an arson case. So it's burned down, which means the Aztecs, with a 12:30 game, having an hour and 45-minute trek from Portland and needing to get to the stadium, 2 hours before a game, are going to be up pretty early Saturday morning on their way from Portland to Corvallis.
That's not the best of omens. Like, hey, the
hotel we stayed at, that burned down.
It burned down.
Now, I don't think it just burned down like this week.
Coming off of the game they had against UCLA and now taking on a better team in Oregon State this Saturday.
Like, they knew the hotel thing didn't pop up between the UCLA game and this week.
Oh,
this
really?
didn't happen like they were aware
okay.
of this in the springtime.
Oh, I thought this was something that happened recently.
No, in the last year.
Oh, okay. I thought, never mind then.
But there's not a lot of hotels. This isn't visiting San Diego. Like Corvallis is not, right? Small college town.
Can't find a hotel closer?
Well, the football is so many rooms. You got to have meetings. You got to be able to game plan and prep. So I think typically they stay in Eugene, which is close enough to Corvallis. By the way, Oregon is home this week, so that takes up hotel space.
Okay.
So anyway, they're going to be in Portland, San Diego State, Oregon State, 12:30 kick time Saturday. Our pregame coverage will begin at 10:30 a.m. Right now, let's get to this.
Are the Jets done as playoff contenders?
I want to say no.
Really?
But I don't think they are, because their defense is that good and they have some pretty good skill players on their team still. I think Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook in the backfield, along with Garrett Wilson, who made one of the best catches you'll ever see.
What a play.
It was a horrible thrown ball by Zach Wilson. It should be back shoulder.
It should have been picked, right?
Right at the defender. Yeah.
It's a horribly thrown ball by Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I know. So I think if they simplify the offense and if he doesn't turn the ball over at the rate that he has in the past, just run the football, have your defense, carry the load here. I think they're a playoff contender, but they're not even close to what they could have been if Rodgers was healthy.
Jim, it's done. Listen to the next 5 games and tell me if they're better than 2 and 4 through 6 games.
Through 5?
Through 6. So they're 1-0.
Okay.
Give me more than one win. You could easily make a case for 0 and 5. Listen to this. At Cowboys. You tell me.
Loss.
It's a loss. New England at home.
Toss up.
They'll probably be a dog. Correct? Couple of points. They were dog this past week against Buffalo. New England's not as good.
Maybe.
Zach Wilson, not Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Kansas City at home. Dog and a loss. At Denver, they'll be a dog.
It'll be a close game. It'll be like that'll be like literally a 13-14 game.
You mean 14-13?
Or 14-13 game.
Remember my first time watching sports.
Yeah, but by then we'll know if Denver is a train wreck or if they're legit or not. Too.
And then Philadelphia at home.
It's a tough schedule, dude.
Isn't that?
That's a tough schedule.
Then they have a bye. And it's not. I'm telling you, you look at the schedule, Jim. If they win more than 7 games, I'll be impressed.
They're going to have to go full on 2000 Ravens defense.
Yes, win everything 13-10.
Literally, that's how they're going to have to win games.
Run the ball, hold the football, get stops.
Yep, exactly, and not turn the ball over.
Well, I love the strategy. Honestly, late in the game, they're just like Zach Wilson handed off 3 straight times.
Yeah, we're not going to allow you to throw the football. 3
straight runs. Field goal. I don't even know what right, but they were saying our defense. Let's put this in the hands of our defense.
They have to. They that is the only way this team can be a playoff contender this year is if their defense is just that good. And last night they were that good because they. I mean, I know Josh Allen has had a lot of issues lately with his play on the field and his recklessness, but if that's an indicator of how good the Jets defense could be. With the turnovers and 16, hey, you never know.
But they're not making the postseason. It's over. Next question:
who will win a World Series next? The Padres or the Mets? Or should it be first?
Well, Mets have won them. That's why I said next.
Do I have to
I just mean in comparison though, which between the two.
Right, who will win one first?
Yeah.
From this point moving forward.
The Braves.
So you say neither.
Typical Jim answer.
The Braves.
Pick A or B. I'll take D.
Well, no, I'm not saying this year.
No, I know that, John.
Because neither are going to win a World Series this year.
I don't know, man. The Mets are not really a competent franchise in general. The Padres are definitely not a competent franchise. One of these years, if one of these teams wins, it's going to be maybe by luck, not because it's actually because they know what they're doing. I'll just go with the Padres just because, we talk Padres every day.
Well, the indicators are, and you can say, why do you hate the Padres? The indicators are clearly in the favor of the Mets. A, they spend more than any team.
Why do you hate the Padres?
B, they've been decisive. They move players when they should have. D, they overhauled their front office completely in the last month. Now they've hired a bright young executive to lead the way, David Stearns, who did very good work with Milwaukee. So, in terms of what team is doing it competently so far, and maybe the Padres buck the trend when the season ends and Peter Seidler makes a decisive overhaul to the organization and points the Padres in a different direction. But in terms of which way they're pointed right now, I'd say the Mets are pointing closer to that direction than the Padres are. To your point, neither team is winning the World Series in the next 12 months.
No.
Or likely 24 months.
Probably not for the next 48 months.
Maybe not for the next 96.
Maybe for not the next.
Can you double that?
192
months.
92 months.
Maybe not for the next 20 years.
Oh, man.
Hopefully not, though. Next question.
Is Colorado a legit college football playoff contender?
I got to see what they do against who they play. Who's their next team they play that's actually supposed to be really good?
Oregon and Eugene in 2 weeks.
Talk to me after they play Oregon. If they beat Oregon in Eugene, okay, they're going to beat Colorado State this weekend.
Yep.
If they beat Oregon and they go to 4-0 and Shedeur Sanders continues the play that he has shown for the last 2 weeks here, then I will say yes. But until then, I don't know if I could put them in that category. I don't think I can.
Listen to this. Okay, these are the first 2 conference games for Colorado. By the way, the Oregon head coach Dan Lanning, when Colorado left for the Big 12 initially, said, "What has Colorado ever done in this league? Who cares?" Essentially.
You don't think Deion's going to use that?
Right. I mean, he said that less than a month ago. Their first 2 conference games, listen to this. Oregon in Eugene, USC at home. Even splitting that is an incredible accomplishment. If they win one of those 2 games, they put themselves in position to maybe get to a Pac-12 title game if they can do that.
This past weekend, the Colorado-Nebraska game had over 8 million people watching that. The largest audience for a Fox college football game
ever.
Dude,
it had more viewers than Texas, Alabama, unless you include the Pat McAfee cast.
Yeah.
Like if you add that in, which I think that's unfair.
It is.
But if you just took broadcast to broadcast, game to game, the Fox Big Noon Colorado game had more viewers than Alabama, Texas.
I know.
That's all you need to know about how Colorado is resonating right now. Not just in college football, in football.
They're and Joel Klatt was right. They are the biggest story in sports as far as like the good stories go.
Yeah, it's a huge. Now listen, NFL games are getting 20 million viewers. That's getting 8, 9, 10. But that's huge. You're getting 8, 9, 10
for Colorado.
It's huge. It's
Colorado.
Craziness. All right, I don't even know what the question was. Next question. What was the question?
Can they be a college football?
Oh, let me answer that. Let me say this. Let me get this on the record right now definitively. No chance in hell.
Okay.
There is no way they're a legitimate college football playoff contender.
Not even if they beat Oregon and USC?
Well, yeah, if they win all their games, they will be, but I don't think it's going to happen.
That's true.
Next question.
Will Aaron Rodgers ever play again?
Man, this is the type of injury that at his age, that ends your career. Especially, I do think that the turf played a factor.
It definitely played a factor
in his injury last night because it got stuck in the turf and you saw his calf and his Achilles literally just pop.
Yeah, grass gives, turf doesn't.
So to me, I don't think he plays again, man. I don't.
But you want to go out that way.
No, you don't.
He's so talented that he could definitely come back in a year.
He's going to play again.
Yeah, I think he plays again because you can't go
yeah.
out. And this is a 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion. Listen, we've all been somewhat critical of Aaron Rodgers, especially in the second half of his career. And I agree with the criticism. I think he's been vastly overrated for a good portion of his career. With all that being said, for a Hall of Fame quarterback to go out like this, to me, would be pretty surprising.
You think?
I mean,
Joe Theismann.
I know. You're right. You're 100% right. I mean, this thing was, it's so Jets.
It happened
to
Vinny
fast. Testaverde,
yeah,
in '99, same thing.
I mean, to the point where we didn't even see it.
I saw Brent running around in the back there. Yeah. Like, what's happening? And
he's rewinding the TV.
Oh my God, Aaron Rodgers is out of the game.
Well, because I looked up and he was like on the sidelines, and Zach Wilson was in, and I was like, "Huh?
What?"
And then I rewound. I was like, "Oh wow, he got hurt."
Yeah, he tore. I mean, it was brutal. If you don't like Aaron Rodgers, if you don't like the Jets,
it's
okay,
still
but it's still, you watch it and you're like, oh, you don't want it to end like that. If you hate Aaron Rodgers and you hate the Jets, you rather watch Aaron Rodgers struggle this year than have him get injured. I feel like
one of the worst things about it, no joke, is when you see now all these tweets about the nationally televised games that the Jets are in. We just told you their schedule with the Chiefs and the Eagles and the Patriots. All these huge matchups with
They'll get
Aaron
flexed out.
But in the first handful of weeks of the season, they're not going to be able to do that. You got Zach Wilson starting against Patrick Mahomes. You got Jalen Hurts opposite Zach Wilson. And like you said, I mean, they're going to have to win with their defense. That's not overly sexy. And I do feel for Jets fans. We all know it's part of sports. Injuries are going to happen. It can happen with Tom Brady's lost a season because of it. We've seen quarterbacks lose seasons because of injury, but for it to literally happen on the first drive of the season. And then it was that epic game last night. I was enthralled by the game.
Because it was so bad, it was good.
Exactly. I was fascinated by this game last night. And then they win, and there's players like on the field like they won the Super Bowl. But then the realization sets in when you hear from their head coach after the game, like, say a prayer for him in terms of getting back in the field, because this thing is unfortunately not looking good. And that was confirmed today.
Yeah. Again, it's a horrible injury. You hate to see it, because I was very intrigued about what the Jets were going to do this year with Aaron Rodgers. I think that if you look at their skill guys that we talked about, they could have been a pretty good team. I don't know if they would have been the best team, but they have a damn good defense. They have Garrett Wilson, who reminds you of a young Devontae Adams, it just showed last night. You have Breece Hall, who is a young running back with fresh legs, even though he's coming off of an ACL injury.
He looked very good last night.
Great last night. And you have Dalvin Cook, the veteran. You have a couple other pieces, Allen Lazard. Man, it sucks if you're just a football fan and if you're a Jets fan to not see this thing through because of the hype that was going into this year. It reminds me of the Family Guy moment when Stewie's at the Mets game and they say, and here's the first pitch of the season and the season's over.
Exactly.
Like literally that's what happened to the Jets last night in real life.
And Mets fans, by the way, are Jets fans typically. And unfortunately for them, I mean, I will say this, bring it back to the, hey, he gets hurt on a turf field discussion.
Mm-hmm.
You've got arguably the biggest league in the world. Great. The NFL is as big of a cash is in American sports, and America is big money when it comes to sports. Yet you're playing a lot of games on turf, and you're essentially looking the other way repeatedly at injuries that are happening on turf. Not to say they can't happen on grass. Obviously, significant injuries happen on grass. But is it that much of an ask? This is such a star power league where if you lose Patrick Mahomes, you're like, you've lost a lot for the league. If you lose Aaron Rodgers, a 4-time MVP, you've lost a lot for the league. Yes, people are going to tune in, of course. But like, are we asking so much to potentially get rid of turf or change turf around the league where injuries don't occur at the same rate that they occur on grass?
Now, I saw this last night. So when the World Cup comes here in 2026, they're going to be playing games at MetLife Stadium
on grass.
On grass.
No turf for the World Cup.
They are changing out the turf there for grass, and that turf, it's deadly. I remember a couple of years ago, after the Niners went to the Super Bowl and they opened up, I think, second week of the year at MetLife versus the Jets, and they lost Bosa because he tore his ACL there. Jimmy Garoppolo, I think, had a high ankle sprain there. He had another player hurt his ACL there as well, playing the Giants, I think it was. Like that turf there, and it's not just us saying it, we're saying it because you have everybody that has played there say how horrible that place is. You even had Jets players last night being asked about it, and they went to so far as saying, grass, we need grass. It's a horrible thing for the athlete. It's a horrible thing for the football player, and that needs to be changed. And it's like, you're a multi-billion-dollar organization. Get it right.
Yeah, like figure this out. And I get it, there are domes, but I mean, you literally have NFL stadiums where they like roll the grass in. Like, I mean, they do all these complexities and have all these intricacies to play on grass fields. To your point, World Cup is always played on grass. Yet this huge sport where the star power is so significant and they have all these rules. Every rule is designed around protecting the quarterback. And then you have essentially what I would refer to as a somewhat routine play or tackle. Nothing was wrong with the play. And the injury is only occurring because of the surface in which the injury occurs on. I think that's fair. I think if this is Lambeau Field last year,
I don't think it happens. At worst, it's like a high ankle sprain.
Exactly.
And if you're Aaron Rodgers, you're sitting there thinking like, why couldn't I have just gotten a high ankle sprain and been out for like 4 or 5 weeks?
Right.
Now it's the recovery
is a full year, right?
Is a full year. You're not playing this season. You have to wait another full year before you can make any type of impact with them. And oh, by the way, you're another year older. And who knows what happens for this team next year as far as players go, defense, just the absolute worst case scenario that wasn't even imaginable. Like, I don't think anybody thought, oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers is going to get hurt on the third play of the game.
You saw the tweet though, that like one guy sent 3 hours before the game. It's like, oh, I'm here for Aaron Rodgers tearing his Achilles in the second quarter.
Because it was raining at MetLife. The turf has always been a problem there. And just knowing the damage that turf has done to players. Yeah, he went out on a limb and he was right. It has like over 10 million views, that tweet. It's crazy.
I know. I will say this, social media is undefeated. When I saw some of the social media posts, Brent would have got a kick out of half of these things. If you saw Twitter, you saw some on Facebook, but the Aaron Rodgers 2023 highlight reel.
It's just him running
which
out.
is just him running out with the American flag at MetLife, and that was it.
I know.
My favorite was there was one where on the top half of the meme, it was Apollo Creed walking out to fight Drago. And then it's like Rodgers to start the season. And then it's like 10 minutes later. And then it was just Apollo laying on the ground dead.
But it was faster than that. It wasn't even 10 minutes. It was
75 game seconds.
It was 4 plays, 75 game seconds. That's amazing to me. I feel so bad. It sucks. I'm glad the Jets won that game last night.
What if they would have lost that game just like 20-3?
Then
Then
they're going to have a top 5 pick next year.
Then they would have had the top. Then you would have Caleb Williams replacing Aaron Rodgers.
Maybe this is a good thing for the Jets.
They're not going to be that bad, though, to your point.
I know.
That's the thing. I don't think they're a playoff contender, but there's no way you take this thing away with that defense.
No.
Well, we found what will keep Caleb Williams in school one more year.
Yeah, potentially.
Hey, you want to come be the newest
New York Jet?
You would take
No.
it.
Yeah, it's New York. Can you imagine the opportunities?
Of course you would take it.
All right, you heard our take on the Aaron Rodgers injury. What about Colin Cowherd earlier today on San Diego Sports 760? We'll share that with you coming up on the other side of a break. Still ahead this hour, by the way, your chance to win some really good tickets. We had a lot of calls for this yesterday. The Pacific Air Show, we'll give that away during Trainwreck Radio. That's the Pacific Air Show in Huntington Beach, Friday, September 29th to Sunday, October 1st. It's bringing more sky-high action and nonstop thrills than ever before. GA tickets only $25 plus booking fees. PacificAirshow.com. We'll give those tickets away coming up this hour. 5 o'clock hour, we have a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. We'll give those away in the 5 o'clock hour. Colin Cowherd on the season ender for Aaron Rodgers. What does it mean for the Jets here in 2023? You'll hear from Colin Cowherd on the other side. It's Jon and Jim on a Tuesday. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us. All right, Colin Cowherd right here on San Diego Sports 760. Earlier today, what does the injury to Aaron Rodgers mean for the Jets this season? Plus, we've got great giveaways for you. Stay with us.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres Dodgers game 2 of their 3-game series tonight at Dodger Stadium. Michael Wacha on the mound for the Padres. Other news with the Padres today: they put Rich Hill on waivers. Good trade there. Last night, NFL Aaron Rodgers got injured on the 4th play of the game, tore his Achilles. He is out for the remainder of the season for the Jets. And the Aztecs, they take on Oregon State this Saturday afternoon, 12:30 kickoff, 10:30 a.m. is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. Staples has big savings on everything for school or the office. Save on school essentials like notebooks, pens, and crayons. In stock and backed by Staples Price Match Guarantee. In store only. Visit staples.com/price match for details. School on, save on at Staples.
All right, as close as Padres fans are going to get to the postseason this year, the Fort Wayne Tin Caps and Great Lake Loons are underway.
Oh, what's the
no
score?
score, bottom 4 in Fort Wayne, game 1 of a 3-game series. Best of 3 series, Midwest League, Dodgers affiliate, the Loons, Padres affiliate, the Tin Caps. We had John Nolan voice the Tin Caps with us yesterday.
We did, yeah.
No score, bottom 4, Tin Caps batting. Got to win that. You can't lose game 1 at home and then go to Great Lakes. It's not easy to win in Great Lakes.
Who's starting for the Tin Caps tonight?
A pitcher.
Thanks.
Baez. Yeah, Baez.
Good pitcher.
Oh, in-play runs for the Tin Caps. In-play runs.
Baby.
In-play runs for the Tin Caps.
What happened? Grant Pauly?
Norwillian Cedeno has doubled.
RBI double.
And that has scored Tyler Robertson. It's 1-0 Fort Wayne.
Can we just go full Tin Caps coverage for the next hour and a half?
Do we have the John Nolan play-by-play feed? Can we just pod that up for the next couple hours?
Can we simulcast that, please?
All right, Fort Wayne over Great Lakes. Again, the closest we're getting to the postseason this year is in the Midwest League.
With
the Padres
playoffs,
single
baby.
A affiliate. All right, Colin, what do you got?
I've seen those lakes before. They're not that great.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Let's see if Fort Wayne can prove that to be the case against the Great Lakes Loons.
They're going to prove Brent wrong.
Okay. So Colin Cowherd has some feelings on the NFL, right? And not quarterbacks in the NFL. He has some strong feelings on the NBA and the NFL. He shared some of those feelings earlier today right here on San Diego Sports 760. You can hear Colin, of course, every single weekday from 9 a.m. to noon. What is this going to mean for the Jets?
It was a wonderful win for the Jets. It really was. And it's the last week they're probably going to be in first place. When you look at that schedule and that O-line and now Zach Wilson, that's fourth place. Listen, Aaron and that offensive line, everybody. Didn't we say, God, if they can go 3-3 through the first 6, you got a new coach, a new city, a new culture, a new O-line. You don't know about your tackles. Aaron Rodgers, we thought, was 6-6. Now it's Zach Wilson at Dallas's defense. Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Belichick at Denver. Aaron was always the difference with this team between 7 wins and potentially 11 or 12. I've had coaches tell me this, that a great quarterback actually makes your defense even better because they feel all they have to do is make a stop and get the ball to the Hall of Famer. Michael Vick had that relevance and that ability. He was in Atlanta. Players felt like just give Michael the ball. He'll make something happen. And that was Aaron Rodgers. It's a gutting loss. But he had 3 dropbacks last night and had to move for all of them and got hurt for the last one. Robert Saleh deserves major props. The Jets defense was amazing. It looks even better this year. They were optimistic, never lost energy despite the injury. They still had plenty of fight left on the field a lot. It never tired. And Zach Wilson didn't lose you the game. I never want to overreact to 1 week in the NFL, but after 1 week, I look at the Jets division and 4 things are true. Miami's offense, maybe the best in the league. Buffalo still has a better quarterback and a better overall roster. The Patriots are going to be a tough out, and the Jets needed Aaron Rodgers to get to the playoffs.
All right, so he's not into just judging things off 1 week, but he has the full take on the AFC East, which is Jets are done.
Dolphins are amazing.
Patriots are tough out.
Yeah, pesky.
And the Bills are still the Bills.
All right, there we go.
Colin Cowherd. Where
Colin was right, where Colin was wrong.
Yeah, listen, to your point, you're going to miss out if you're Colin and you don't have Aaron Rodgers. That's one of 3 main talking points.
Yeah.
It's basically a third of the content during the NFL season.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers with the Jets. I mean, that's a huge story. If you're talking NFL every single day, that's a huge story.
You almost lead your show every day with Aaron Rodgers.
I did think it was kind of funny how he talked about him like Rodgers died.
Right.
Well, just listen how he phrases this.
Players felt like just give Michael the ball. He'll make something happen. And that was Aaron Rodgers.
That was
Aaron Rodgers. That was Aaron Rodgers. That's what people thought about when they thought of Aaron.
Was he comparing him to Michael Jordan?
No, Michael Vick.
Oh, Michael Vick. Yeah. Oh, I was like, Michael.
Did you not listen to the clip we just played?
I forgot.
Not really fully, Brent.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to agree. This actually goes back to a conversation from 30 minutes ago. It's like with them, you're going to make the playoffs. Without him, you're not.
No.
And that's what a franchise quarterback is. I don't know if they're going to win a Super Bowl, but
I mean, here's ready for a Jim fact.
Oh yeah, let me hear this.
That's sports for you.
It's sports.
If you lose your best player, you're probably not going to make the postseason.
This is actually a lot like the Padres. I've been without Musgrove and Darvish, Jim.
Oh wow!
In the second half of the season, without Musgrove and Darvish, they didn't have a chance to make the postseason, right? They've had all these injuries.
All these injuries, man.
These injuries are piling up.
Right. They still have had Juan Soto and Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts and Fernando Tatis Jr. and Blake Snell and Josh.
And by the way, these injuries came when they were already out of it.
But the injuries, John, are going to play a factor in why they missed the postseason.
And then, honestly, you can't even equate in baseball. Like, what's the equivalency? Sure, you could lose a 20-game winner type in a first game, but you're playing 162 times, and you like to think that there's probably you have 5 starters. They got 1 starter in the NFL.
At the most important position,
right?
Quarterback. You can't lose your quarterback. You lose your quarterback, you're done. Plain and simple. If you lose your number 1 starter in baseball, you could survive.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Noah Syndergaard this year with the Rangers signed this huge contract. Season was over before it even started. Clayton Kershaw's gone on the IL plenty of times. You know, the Dodgers are without Walker Buehler. You can look around. Tyler Glasnow with the Tampa Bay Rays was out for a season. They still made the postseason, right?
100%.
So it's different in football. I mean, obviously it's different in football, but yeah, you can survive if you don't have your number 1 starter. But Yeah, that's how it goes.
How about this? Remember we started the show, we're like, hey, Mets, they hired David Stearns, bright young executive, considered to be one of the better executives in the game. They at least have a clear directive, even though they've had a bad year. All right, so there's that angle. Let me give you another angle today in baseball. Again, there's nothing to do with the Padres beating the Dodgers yesterday. Why don't the Padres have a Kyle Hertz? You might say, well, who the hell is Kyle Hertz? He's one of the top pitching prospects in baseball. It's the middle of September, and the Dodgers are calling him up and putting him in their bullpen. Like, just not an embarrassment of riches, because the Dodgers haven't won a World Series since 1988. Yes, I said it. But it's like, why is it that they've always got these like reserves that are available that are going to be beneficial? The Padres, they're out of it. I wish they had someone like Kyle Hurt that they could call up. And even if they are out of it, we say, hey, at least you get to see the future maybe of the rotation or a back end piece, one of the top pitching prospects in the game. Let's see what he can do for a couple of weeks. They don't even have that. Not only are the Dodgers heading to the postseason, they're calling up one of the top pitching prospects in the game.
We know why that's the case, John, because the Dodgers with Andrew Friedman, they are one of the best organizations when it comes to drafting and developing. Plain and simple. Padres, not so much. You know, I see a lot of this on social media, and it's like, oh, well, the future is very bright for the Padres because look at all these prospects they have. How many times that I've heard that over the last decade?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the future's bright for the Padres. Look at all the prospects they've had. None of them panned out here. None. So until I actually see a Jackson Merrill and an Ethan Salas and a Robbie Snelling and a Dylan Lesko and a Grant Pauly, like until I see these guys actually hit the big league level, there is no, while AJ Preller is still here, there is no chance in hell I am saying the future is bright for the Padres, because it's never been that way. So why should I think anything different now? Until I'm like, prove me wrong. Go out there and prove me wrong, Padres prospects.
Well, the issue, there's always an issue. There's always something like the prospects you mentioned, which are highly regarded for the Padres, by the way, are in lower levels of the minor leagues. They're not being called up right now. All this Ethan Salas excitement, he spent 18 games above low A and was grossly overmatched and got hurt and had a 500 OPS in those 18 games. For all the excitement, they're all question marks. They're not developed to the point where who knows if Kyle Hurt is going to be a terrific pitcher for the Dodgers or not, but at least they've developed him to the point where they're calling him up in I don't know if it's a pennant race, it's certainly a playoff race, and they're going to be the 2 seed in the National League. They'll probably call on him. He could be active in the postseason for the Dodgers. So this is the Dodgers in the playoff race. The Padres aren't in a race, yet they still have nowhere to turn in terms of what their future could look like.
Yeah.
There's no Salas coming up. There's no Lesko coming up. These are young prospects.
Hey, Pedro Avila, he's done a nice job, but he got rocked last night. And is he a part of your future? No. I mean, if he is, you got problems, right? And instead they're pitching Rich Hill in games and Tim Hill in games. Like, you know what you have with these players. You don't have anybody in the minors that you can throw out there and say, see what this kid's got.
Would you rather have Kyle Hurt in your organization with his 150 strikeouts in 80 innings or Rich Hill?
Let me answer that question for you real quick.
Call right now if you want a pair of free tickets to the Pacific Air Show. First 2 callers will be contestants for Trainwreck Radio. The number to call is 844-570-1360. This is a great prize. 844-570-1360. 2 free tickets. This is over a $50 value. It's in Huntington Beach, Friday, September 29th to Sunday, October 1st. It's bringing more sky-high action and nonstop thrills than ever before. GA tickets, just $25 plus booking fees, pacificairshow.com. If you want free tickets, you need to call right now. 844-570-1360. First 2 callers will be contestants. Trainwreck Radio, that's sports trivia, and it's next. Stay with us on Jon and Jim. All right, Trainwreck Radio on the other side. Great prizes still to give away, including a 4-pack of tickets to Howl O Scream at SeaWorld San Diego. We'll give those away in the 5 o'clock hour. Don't go anywhere. The Great Lake Loons are threatening. I hate to say that.
Oh,
Game
John.
1 of the Midwest League playoffs against the Padres.
Don't ruin this for me.
A-ball affiliate, the Fort Wayne Tin Caps. It's 1-0 Tin Caps in the 5th inning, but the Dodgers affiliate has runners on first and third with only one out. It was first and third, nobody out, though. So we'll see. We'll keep you updated because that, again, is as close as the Padres are getting to the playoffs this year. We have really good giveaways for you today. We're going to give away Pacific Air Show tickets in a minute with Trainwreck Radio. Next hour, a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. I think we should go as a show.
Okay.
It'd be kind of fun. Get like candy
Where's this
corn.
at? Where's this at again?
It's at SeaWorld San Diego.
Now you say that.
Yes, I say it.
But you'll never
But,
follow through.
I'm
yeah,
following through.
is it
Let's
just
get
like
the
the
tickets
last
from
3 movies you were gonna go see.
Let's get the tickets from Fletch. It's at night. We'll go right after a show. We'll go at 6 p.m. It's probably open to what, 8, 9, 10 o'clock if it's a night event, I would think. We'll head over.
Well, I don't think it'll be very scary in the daytime.
Last time we like tried to plan a show outing,
Yeah.
you said, "Yeah, I'm not going."
When did I do that?
When we were trying to see, we were going to see Batman.
I don't know anything about Batman.
You don't know anything about any movies, though.
Yeah, but
You
Top
didn't know
Gun was easy.
Yeah, but you didn't know anything about Top Gun either.
It's true.
that it
It's
had
true.
to do
This
with
Batman movie
jets.
could have been. This Batman movie would have been easy because it was very what's the word am I looking for?
Self-explanatory.
Self-explanatory.
Dude, you need help.
It was self-explanatory.
serious help.
Sorry, I can't hear myself with the echo in the background.
What is wrong with you, man?
Maybe you should turn your headphones up.
Seriously, you should.
Maybe I should.
Oh, who was it? Wait, hold on. It was JD Wicker. Last
Yes,
week
it
at the
was
pregame
JD.
show, Jim gets up an hour in, starts doing some social media stuff, right? It was on the pregame.
Mm-hmm.
Gets
You almost
up
deafened him.
for JD. JD puts the headphones on. I start the segment. JD was like appalled by the headset volume.
What?
Yes, Brent.
Yeah.
To the point where like we had to do like a about face and we had to turn everything down like mid start of the segment. And I'm like, this is Jim.
I'm turning it into Steve
You're
Hartman.
and that's exactly
Yep.
what we said.
That was brought up.
That was brought up.
Oh my gosh, I am turning it into Hartman.
Yeah, you are.
I'm calling for AJ Preller's job.
Right.
I can't hear.
Phillip Rivers isn't a Hall of Famer.
Phillip Rivers sucks.
Right. You always are ripping the Chargers.
I'm Steve Hartman.
You just need that jet black hair.
Starting Blue Chew.
I would take that endorsement in a heartbeat because at least it's an endorsement. Brent, let's get to it.
What is going on with you, man?
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Kyle and we have Jeremy. Kyle, you called in first, so you have your choice of John or Jim. Who do you want to go with today?
I got to go with John.
Got to. Did you see how he said he has to? Thank you,
He has
Kyle.
no other choice.
Right.
All right, Kyle. You got John. Jeremy, you got me. All right.
Sounds good.
All righty. Brent, what's today's question of the day?
All right, guys, we've mentioned Aaron Rodgers a couple times today. He's one of just 10 players in NFL history that have multiple MVP awards. Today's question, can you name the other 9 players that have won multiple MVP awards?
All right. I like that question. Jeremy will be first up here. Jeremy, what's your first guess? You do have your lifeline if you choose to use it.
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, pretty good guess on the list. Boom.
Wow.
Kyle, you're up next. What's your first guess? You do have your lifeline if you want to use it.
I'm gonna go with Tom Brady.
Good guess.
No way. Oh, yeah, he is on there.
Shocker. Jeremy, you're up next. What is your second guess? You do have your lifeline if you choose to use it.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre on the list.
Yeah, this is kind of, I like this question.
Yeah. Wait, who's up next?
It's not
Is it Kyle?
too hard.
Kyle's up next. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle, what's your second guess? You do have your lifeline if you choose to use it.
Okay, I'm gonna go with my lifeline.
I'm just like, oh, this is an easy question.
You're like, uh-oh.
Oh, I'll give you one. You may have heard of him. He played for your Niners.
Okay.
Joe Montana.
Joe
Do you know the name, Jim?
Joe Montana. Do you take that, Kyle?
I gotta take Joe Montana for sure.
How many, Brent?
2.
Just 2.
Just 2.
Just 2.
Just 2.
Okay.
Jeremy, you're up next. Final guess. What do you got? You do have your lifeline too if you want to use it.
We'll go with Steve Young.
Steve Young on
Wow,
the
he had
list.
2.
I thought
he had 1.
he had only
Yeah.
1 too.
He had 2,
No,
right?
He had 2. Same
Wow.
as Montana.
Wow. All right, Kyle, to send this thing to overtime, you don't have your lifeline, so it's all up to you. What do you got?
Oh man, I'm between Walter Payton and Emmitt Smith. Can I?
No, you
get,
can't.
can
It's
I
all-
flip a coin?
You can flip a coin.
if
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah. Which ones you like?
Okay, let's flip it. Let's go with Emmitt Smith has been the all-time leading rusher. Let's go with Emmitt.
Emmitt Smith.
I like the guess. No! Is Walter Payton on the
Jeremy!
list, Brent?
No.
It's all quarterbacks, isn't it? Is it all quarterbacks with multiple?
No.
Who would be the one? It's
Hold
not,
on. Let me
it's
think.
not
Let me think. Patrick Mahomes is on the list, right?
No,
Yes,
but who's
yes, he
the
is.
non-quarterback?
Or non-quarterback? It's got to be a running back, right?
That's what I'm saying, but who
No,
would
it's
it
an
be?
offensive lineman, Jim. Yes,
Yeah,
it's a running
no, it's a
back.
punter.
Emmett only has 1, by the way.
Emmett has 1. Jim Brown?
That's correct.
Jim Brown. Wow.
Okay.
I was trying to think. I was like, okay, Adrian Peterson only has 1.
Who else is on this
LT
list?
has 1.
You got everyone on the list except for 2 people.
Who are
2
those human beings?
people.
I didn't know if you wanted to guess.
Oh,
or not.
did Mahomes? Did you say Mahomes?
I said
Yeah, he's
Mahomes.
got
He's got 2?
Mahomes. They're both quarterbacks.
Drew Brees?
Like that.
No.
No.
Lamar
What-
Jackson has 1, right?
Lamar Jackson has
One was from like our dad's time period. Another one was from our time period.
Frank Tarkenton?
No, close.
Russell Wilson have 2?
No.
He doesn't have 1.
It'd be Johnny Unitas.
Whatever. He has like he doesn't even have a vote for a first place vote
Dude,
ever.
the guy was unbelievable a decade ago.
You know, he has never had 1 first place vote ever for MVP.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay, Johnny
not-
Unitas.
Johnny Unitas had 3, and Kurt Warner had
Oh,
Kurt
2.
yeah, that's a good
Warner.
one.
Yeah.
Who was the tailback again? Oh, we said Jim Brown.
Jim Brown.
Marshall Falk would have been a good guess.
Yeah,
but-
absolutely.
yeah.
100%. Congratulations to
The only
Jeremy.
one.
You have won tickets to the Pacific Air Show that is in Huntington Beach, Friday, September 29th to Sunday, October 1st. It's bringing more sky-high action and nonstop thrills than ever before. GA tickets only $25 plus booking fees. PacificAirshow.com. All right, next hour, your chance to win that 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. Plus, as we get you ready for the Padres Dodgers tonight, would you rather be in the Padres shoes right now or in the Mets shoes right now? And of course, we'll explain that on the other side. It's hour 3 of Jon and Jim. We've got a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld to give away, plus back into the Padres. 17 games to play at Dodger Stadium here tonight. Hour 3, Jon and Jim. Stay with us. Hey guys, it is me, Schaefer, and I'm going to be over at Windmill Farms tomorrow. You should too this week as you get ready for more college and NFL football action. The college area's natural grocer will get you ready for your weekend of tailgating wherever you are. They've got you covered for all your game day needs, featuring organic farm fresh produce and meats. We've been telling you about that. They've got an amazing craft beer selection. They really do. They've got incredible food available in their deli as well for sandwiches. I'm going to go over there tomorrow, pick up some lunch for myself and my wife over at, again, Windmill Farms. They're centrally located off Del Cerro Boulevard, right across the freeway. I mean, right across the freeway from Montezuma Mesa. Windmill Farms is your family-owned market serving the San Diego area for 20 years. So whatever it is, get ready for your weekend over at Windmill Farms. You can visit windmillfarmsmarket.com, by the way, to see their weekly specials. You can find their weekly specials on social media as well, including on Instagram, windmillfarmsmarket.com. They've got great specials for you each and every week. You got to get over there. Get ready for your weekend at Windmill Farms. Shop local. Shop at Windmill Farms.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres Dodgers game 2 of their 3-game series tonight at Dodger Stadium. 7:10 first pitch. Michael Wacha on the mound for the Padres tonight. Hassan Kim is out of the lineup. Edgar Rosario will be in there taking his place. Rich Hill has been put on waivers by the Padres. News coming down today. NFL news of the day: Aaron Rodgers' season is officially over, as he has torn his Achilles 4 plays into the game last night. And the Aztecs, they take on Oregon State this Saturday in Corvallis, 12:30 kick. 10:30 is when our pregame coverage starts right here on San Diego Sports 760. Staples has big savings on everything for school or the office. Save on school essentials like notebooks, pens, and crayons. In stock and backed by Staples price match guarantee. In store only. Visit staples.com/price match for details. School on, save on at Staples.
Getting close to that time. Yep, that time. Quitting time. And there's only one way to handle that drive home. John Schaefer and Jim Russell.
What are we waiting on? If guys like Soto are tired, if guys like Machado are hurt, if Bogarts is hurt, let's take care of the things that put the Padres in a position to be better in 2024, as opposed to play out the string. That's how I look at it.
The accountability of this team is very low. I don't know when we're going to hear from Peter, but it better be the second after the season's over. I understand if in a season, like you're not going to talk. I totally understand that. But if it's not the day after the season or 2 days after the season at most, then we have a major problem.
Now it's time for Jon and Jim.
San Diego and Southern California is going on. Final hour of Jon and Jim. We are with you until 6 p.m. We're getting you ready for Padres Dodgers tonight. We're looking ahead to the offseason for the Padres as well. Also, this hour, we're giving away the 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. We're going as a show. Even though both Jim and Brent doubt that I'm actually going to follow through on that, we're going as a show.
I didn't know that.
By the way, this is at SeaWorld San Diego with every twist and turn. Death-defying drop. You know me with death-defying drop.
Oh, it's your middle name.
That's my middle name.
Jon Death-defying drop Schaefer.
All new special effects, more scares, and 4 terror-filled houses. We'll give you something to scream about. I literally was screaming last night because a cricket was in my house. There's even more dark magic lurking around every corner with electrifying and mesmerizing live entertainment. The screamiest event of the season is now at SeaWorld San Diego's Howl O Scream, September 29th through October 31st, only on select nights. For more info, visit SeaWorldSanDiego.com.
Dude, I'll call it right now. If there's 4 houses, John will go through one and won't go in any others.
He'll be so scared. Like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, I'm not doing another one.
Well, the live actor thing is seriously, it's a little much for me. If they have, I don't even know if they have that, but the idea that people are like real.
But they can't actually attack you, John.
They're real
you could
people.
Sue them if that's
Yeah,
the
but I'm going to
case.
be like scared.
You're supposed to
That's the
be.
whole point.
Yeah.
Is you're supposed to be scared. That's why I call it like a scare house. Then they don't call it a fun house, and then you go in and they scare you.
So, okay.
Well, some do, but
I'm looking forward to it. You guys can go on the rides and I'll wait and be like, oh, how was house number 2?
You're like, ooh, it
Yeah.
was so scary.
Now, do we dress up for something like that? It's Halloween.
we're not going on Halloween, are we?
No.
No.
Well, then no, we don't have to dress up.
We're not dressing up. It's
All
fine.
right.
When is Halloween this year? Is it on a weekday?
It's always on October 31st.
Oh my God, John. Let me finish. Is it on a weekday or a
Tuesday.
weekend? Okay,
When's
Tuesday.
Christmas this year?
It's on the 25th of December.
When's
It's
New Year?
26, it's leap year.
It's on a Monday actually this year. So that's good.
Oh, man. I don't know what the hell's going on. We'll give away those tickets between now and the next time we break. All right. We're going to give away those Howl O Scream tickets between now and the next time we break. Do not go anywhere if you want a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. We started the show today not talking really about the Padres' epic, I'm using it in quotations, win last night over the Dodgers, coming back from a 5-run deficit. Trailed the game 7-2, won it. Juan Soto had a big moment in the game. Padres won it 11-8. We spent the start of the show talking about something that the Mets have done that the Padres have not done. The Mets have looked themselves in the mirror and said, we're not very good. We need to change that because our expectations are high. We're in New York City. We're spending like we should win, and we're not winning. And they sold off at the deadline.
Yeah. They
Fired everyone a few weeks ago in their front office. They've hired a brand new executive baseball operations, David Stearns, highly regarded okay, across baseball. Meanwhile, the Padres have literally, Jim, done the exact opposite over the last 8 weeks. They've acquired at the deadline. They've made no change to their front office. They have not pointed themselves in a better direction heading into the offseason. We'll see what Peter Seidler does at the end of this year. But I don't know. I see what the Mets are doing. I see how decisive they've been. I know it's been a disappointing year, but I can't help but be a little bit envious to see what they've done over the last 8 weeks, even though they have the same record as the Padres, and watch the Padres just kind of, I don't know, go about things the way they've gone about things.
It's wild that this story today for what the Mets did raised my eyebrows more than what the Padres did last night versus the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a story that we should be talking about. We should be talking about the amazing comeback last night, right? They're down 5 runs. This team this year hasn't come back from that big of a deficit all year long. It's a fact. And they do it. And they do it against the Dodgers. And they do it on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it with one of their big 4 in the 9th inning. 3-run homer.
Was it the 9th or the 8th?
It was the 9th.
Oh, yeah.
It was the top of the 9th.
That's right.
The Dodgers had their closer in there. So you're not going up against some scrub. You're going up against the Dodgers closer. All right. And instead, wake up this morning and you see the story by the Mets. And the first thing I think of, and you thought of it as well, is, oh, that could have been the Padres.
Yeah, like, why can't we have nice things?
And are we saying that this is going to 100% work out for the Mets? No, it could absolutely fail. But the Mets knew what they had wasn't good enough. And they quickly said, yeah, we have to make a change now because we can't continue to go down this path. The Padres, seeing what they had, did not have any realization of this is not good enough. Instead, they thought it was good enough. They stayed the course and it backfired on them miserably because this team was not good going into the trade deadline. They took a 3-game series versus the Texas Rangers and based their buying, I feel like, off that series. I guarantee you, John, guarantee it. They get swept that series or lose that series, they end up trading Snell or Hader.
I don't know if they do or not. I was advocating for that. I don't know if they would have based on that series. Or their minds might have been made up.
I think if they lost that series, things are different.
Well, let me say this. Mistake number 17 in the series of mistakes the Padres have made in recent years, just hear me out on this, was elevating AJ Preller.
Mm-hmm.
It's one thing to have him as GM. I'll give you the example right here with the Mets. Billy Epler's the GM. David Stearns was hired to oversee Epler.
Yeah.
The dynamic can't exist in San Diego by keeping AJ Preller because he's been elevated to the position that David Stearns was just hired to fill in New York. You don't hire someone over the president of baseball operations. What's he like? The double president? So you might hire a GM, but this goes back to something we've discussed with regularity in the last month as well. If you hire a GM, the issue is, well, you have a conflict. The issue is AJ Preller still overseeing the organization. If you had hired David Stearns today to oversee AJ Preller, that would be seen as making a real change in the organization. But they can't do that because Preller's the number one. Even if they hire a GM, maybe it's possible. That could be an option they're pursuing, by the way.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if they did it. The issue there is he's the number 2 to the number 1 Preller. Stearns is the number 1 right now to the number 2 Billy Epler. So it's like the Padres have this thing backwards, and the only way to quote-unquote fix it, if you think it needs to be fixed, which I think most Padres fans feel, is by getting rid of AJ Preller.
Yep, that's how I view it. I think if you remain to stay the same, things will not change. They just won't. You have a great win last night. Nobody cares about it. All they care about every single day, and this will happen tomorrow as well, regardless of what happens tonight. When is Peter Seidler going to talk? What's he going to say? Is he going to reverse course? Is he going to go back on the AJ's excellence line? Is Bob Melvin going to remain the manager? What are you going to do with the big names contracts on this team? What's going to happen with Juan Soto in the offseason? Like, that's what matters right now. That's what matters. And that is the failure in itself, that you're not talking and excited about a huge, massive comeback win last night for the Padres against the Dodgers. Instead, it's like just off into the ether. Like it's like right. a noise in the wilderness that you never hear. It's like, oh, it's just gone.
Imagine how, right, to that point, imagine how excited Padres fans would be today. And this has literally nothing to do with Preller, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But if they somehow were in a position where they were to hire one of the top young executives in the sport, maybe that was the expectation for Preller a decade ago. But it's like he's no longer a prospect. Once you called someone up for 9 years and they've had average results, you can't pretend like that. Jurickson Profar at one point was the top prospect in baseball. Did we get excited when they brought him back as a 30-something-year-old? No, because he's no longer the top prospect in baseball. There was a period in time where A.J. Preller might have been the rock star GM. Well, time moves. Things happen. And at some point, you need to pivot. I think if the Padres today would have hired David Stearns, you know what fan base would have been saying today? Oh my gosh, this is the start of something exciting and new. We don't know how it's going to turn out, but this is our answer to Andrew Friedman in LA. If the Padres today hired David Stearns, the answer would have been, this is our move to, be on a level playing field with someone like Andrew Friedman in LA. But that wasn't the move today. And you're 9 years in on Preller, and now we're going to wait on Seiler to make a decision. Most people believe it. I'm with you. I agree with you. It's hard to envision he moves on. I don't think it's a 1 in 100 or even a 1 in 20. I think it's more likely than that, but I still think it's unlikely in the end that A.J. Preller isn't the GM or the president of baseball operations in 2024.
I can't wait for what excuse they're going to use. I almost want to make a bingo card.
What are the possibilities?
What are the possibilities?
Injuries,
let's write
luck.
I'm going to write these down.
Yeah.
All right, hold on.
They might all be referenced.
All
write
right.
these down. Injuries.
All right. Injuries is one.
Okay. Bad luck.
Bad luck. Run differential.
Run differential is very good.
Down years.
Happen. Right. That it can happen.
Can't happen again.
Marine layer?
No, not marine layer.
They're not going to use that.
I'm trying to think here.
What excuse will the Padres use?
Once in a generation.
No, they already used that.
I know, but I wouldn't put it past them to use it again.
Well, how many times can you have a once in a generation in the same generation?
Let's see.
What excuse will the Padres use? 70470 started with team.
Yeah.
Or 844-570-1360. Or are we out of the excuse business and are we into the action business and they actually make change?
Oh, no. Because this team won't make change.
Like, here's the thing. The Mets...
Significant change? No way.
The Mets realized it wasn't as simple as changing a manager. They've overhauled their front office. They've brought in a new executive. They've traded off pieces. This is all way above the managerial chair. Trade deadline, front office overhaul, David Stearns. All of that is above Buck Showalter.
Mm-hmm.
All of it. The Padres' moves the last decade have been manager.
Right. I know.
And they moved some chairs around in 2021.
It's like, yes, the manager gets blamed, and there have been managers here that it's on them, But look who is the constant. Look who has remained here, A.J. Preller. It's this dynamic that's been created in this clubhouse is horrible. You have Manny and Tatis and Soto and Bogarts, and it just that is not a good dynamic between those four guys.
Mm-hmm.
You got Manny, who's having the worst year of his career. All right. He's gone.
Did you watch the game last night?
Great. Congratulations. Get those numbers, buddy. Get those 30 home runs.
He's going to hit 30.
Yeah, get those 30 home runs so you can continue to tell people to look at your back of your baseball card.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. You're on a 3 different teams in 5 years that have been epic collapses, and you've been at the heart of every single one of them. Good job, buddy. You have Xander Bogaerts, who has come over here, signed a $280 million contract. It's September 12th. He doesn't have 50 RBIs in the year, and he's in the 5 spot every single freaking game.
All right, we weren't even talking about that. 844-570-1360.
You give me on Manny, I just lose it.
You really did. All right, what excuse are the Padres going to make at the end of the season? A lot of people want to weigh in. 844-570-1360. Let's start with Kyle on line 1. Kyle, you're on with Jon and Jim.
Yeah, I think I think management has done a pretty good job bringing together talent, but I think the excuse that they're going to give is the chemistry in the locker room just hasn't been what it needs to be. And I don't know if it's the guys just don't get along, don't hang out, or what it is, but they aren't clutch together. and something's wrong. And I think you got to shake up that locker room.
Kyle, thank you for the call. It's interesting because we kind of mentioned, you were just talking about the chemistry, but I didn't think about that as a possible excuse that ownership could use. Could they say, we recognize the dynamic was off? Could we say, hey, too many type A's? They're not going to say it to the big four. They're going to be like, we're breaking this up. But could they say, hey, there's a dynamic that was off that we recognize that we're trying to fix?
And how do you fix it?
Well, not easily, because Manny Machado's here for the next decade, and Xander Bogaerts next decade, and Tatis next decade, right?
Yeah, and you're not getting rid of Manny because
you can trade Juan
he's
Soto.
The owner's favorite player. You're going to have to see about Bogaerts. The trade value for Xander Bogaerts is like a 0. I saw something.
He has no trade clause.
I know. I saw something the other day, and it was percentages, like who has the worst trade value in baseball. Did you see this?
Like based on contracts?
No, just like as far as their contracts go and their age and the numbers they're putting up.
Let me speculate. Obviously, Bogaerts is on the list.
So they had a top 10 list.
Cronenworth is on that list.
There were 4 Padres.
Cronenworth, Bogaerts, Machado, Darvish.
Wrong.
Tatis is on that list?
You had Yu Darvish.
Okay.
You had Xander Bogaerts.
Got that.
Manny Machado.
Got that.
And Joe Musgrove.
No, I disagree with that. Don't you? 20 a year for a pretty frontline guy?
I disagree with it.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
But that was according to the trade value, there were 10 players listed as have the worst trade value in baseball. 4 Padres on that list.
That surprises me on Musgrove. The others I'm okay with. That surprises me on Musgrove.
I think they're looking at Cronenworth $80 million a year, but I mean, it's not $80 million a year, $80 million total, but only 11 or 12 a year.
What if it was 80 a year? The richest deal in baseball history. So a guy hitting 213 with
$80 million a year.
All right, 844-570-1360. People want to weigh in. What excuse will the Padres use at the end of the season? When we hear from Peter Seiler and AJ Preller, what excuses will they use for 2023? 844-570-1360. Sean on line 5. You're on with Jon and Jim, and thanks for calling in.
Yeah, hey, so I was going to say something along those same lines as your previous caller, but for an excuse is team cohesion, like not enough time for these guys to gel together, and we bring them back next year, and we'll find the chemistry type excuse. That's what I was going to say.
Thanks for the call, Sean.
Okay, the WBC excuse we heard. The pitch clock excuse. They haven't gotten used to it.
Oh, it's
right?
September 12th.
But they didn't get to play together because of the WBC.
They've played 140 plus games together now.
Darvish was misused by Team Japan.
Still pitched a lot of games for the Padres.
Right. The Dominican didn't perform well.
Okay.
Team Dominican didn't win.
Yeah, man. There's a lot of it's funny how everybody the reasons why you want to say this Padres team is where they're at is like chemistry, the big 4, not getting along. You could go money route. It's crazy how everyone thinks that, right? Like it's kind of weird how everyone thinks that. Yet I don't know if they're gonna flat out say that's a reason why.
Yeah, that's actually something that's interesting to keep an eye on. They'll recognize the failure of the season. I mean, you can't say 75 and 87 meets expectations. So someone will say that's not good enough. But then the question is, well, why did you go 75 and 87?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you believe the team underperformed? What is then the answer? Is it injuries? Is it bad luck? Is it team chemistry? Is it marine layer? It's not that. But I mean, what is the reason for the failure? And if they don't know the reason, because by the way, we've been trying to figure it out. The fan base, Bob Melvin, me and you, Brent, our YouTube viewers, our listeners, for a year. I don't think anyone truly knows, including the organization, what the hell has gone wrong.
No.
And if they recognize it, I think they would fix it. But the only way you fix something is by recognizing it.
I don't know if Peter's going to recognize it. I mean, we haven't heard from him since he talked to Kevin Acee. And that was it. And he was pretty definitive in his words about this franchise and who is in charge.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, man, it's going to be interesting when you hear from Peter. It's going to be so interesting when you hear from Peter. And I like Peter a lot. But, man, is he putting himself in a situation where he's becoming a problem if he doesn't realize this.
Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic that I didn't consider like 2 years ago.
Right.
When they're spending. I probably didn't consider it off an NLCS signing
offseason.
Manny to a $350 million extension. Like, yes, my owner, big pockets, willing to spend above all else. But then
it failed miserably.
And then do you recognize, can you correct? Are you willing to unwind something when it needs to be unwound?
Yeah, you have to know when something's not working. You gotta fix it. You can't just go status quo. You can't just run it back.
Yeah, the stability line's scary. You tweeted out yesterday from that article about, hey, I'm a believer in stability, but like
the stability is losing with this franchise. With one NLCS run in 9 years with AJ Preller at the helm, and one NLCS run in the last 2 decades.
Looking for the quote. Man, you tweet a lot, dude.
I do.
Man, lay off the phone.
That's my future wife.
He says, I'm not afraid to make changes. I never have been, but I really value stability. And when I know the person as well and the skill set as well as I know AJ and Eric, they're not going anywhere. I mean,
why is Eric in the conversation?
Yeah, this has nothing to do with Eric Rubner.
Eric doesn't do anything.
No, that's not true.
No, I mean, like,
but
as
baseball
far as
operation.
baseball,
Yeah, I agree. That's
like,
why. Yeah, this has nothing to do with Eric Rubner. I think they've marketed this club exceptionally well.
Yeah, go figure out a new bobblehead. Like,
it's been great.
It's been fine. It's been good.
I think they've done an amazing job with the marketing.
So why is Eric in the conversation?
But you're right. He keeps doubling down the period. They're not going anywhere. Period. That's a very strong. They're not going anywhere. Period. And to me, AJ's excellence is like, we can end the conversation. We don't need to have the David Stearns conversation, I guess.
And they're really, and we do it, like the pushback we're going to give this franchise, and we have given this franchise, and whatever they say, like there needs to be significant pushback here as far as the questions that are asked to Peter Seidler and AJ Preller at the end of the year. It just can't be oh, well, we accept that. It's fine. Like, why are you doing this? Do you not see this? Here is the resume. Do you understand what this franchise is doing the last 5 years?
So wait, you're going to say you want someone to yell at them, essentially?
Not yell at them, but like there needs to be significant pushback. There has to be. If this remains the status quo, things will not change.
All right, more. What do you think about this? All right, Peter's decision coming up. Is he part of the problem if he doesn't make change? Simple as that. Is Peter part of the problem if he doesn't make change? 844-570-1360, 70470, start it with team. Caller 7 right now. You've got a free 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream. More information at SeaWorldSanDiego.com, September 29th through October 31st. 844-570-1360. Caller 7, boo. They're yours.
Boo-hoo.
Did I scare you? 844-570-1360. More of your reaction. Is Peter part of the problem or not? That's next on Jon and Jim. All right. Jim has consistently made the argument that Peter is part of the problem if he doesn't make change at the end of 2023. Do you agree? 844-570-1360, 70470. Start it with team. That's next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres Dodgers game 2 of their 3-game series tonight up in LA. 7:10 first pitch. Michael Wacha on the mound for the Padres. Hassan Kim is out of tonight's lineup. Edgar Rosario is in there taking his place. Rich Hill has been placed on waivers by the Padres today. News in the NFL. Bad news for the Jets and Aaron Rodgers as he tore his Achilles last night. 4 plays into the first game of the year. He'll be put on IR. He will miss the rest of the season. San Diego State takes on Oregon State this Saturday in Corvallis, 12:30 kick. Our pregame coverage starts at 10:30 a.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Staples has big savings on everything for school or the office. Save on school essentials like notebooks, pens, and crayons. In stock and backed by Staples Price Match Guarantee. In store only. Visit staples.com/price match for details. School on, save on at Staples.
All right, an update. Baby Padres, baby Dodgers, Midwest League postseason.
Who's winning?
The Tin Caps, they're a Padres affiliate, are leading the Loons, the Dodgers affiliate, game 1 of a best-of-3 series, 2-0 in the bottom of the 7th inning. That's in Fort Wayne. If the Tin Caps win, game 2 is in Great Lake. Great Lakes.
Can we go to like nonstop coverage here, like all day until this thing is over?
Would you like to do a remote from the Midland, Michigan Blind Borough for game 2?
Let's do it.
Or from Fairplay, Midland?
That'd be fun.
Okay. So it's the closest we're getting to the postseason. Here's a question for you. Would you prefer the Tin Caps win these games or the Padres?
Well, I'm sure the Padres would love to put on social media how the Tin Caps won in the minors, and then you can use that as, that's another excuse.
What? We developed in the minors?
We have a great minor league system.
That won a championship in the Midwest League.
We have a great
save these
minor league system. Yeah.
All right. 844-570-1360. Marcos has been patient. Marcos, you're on with Jon and Jim. Thanks for calling in.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Couple things like you had brought up. Do I find Seidler culpable for this whole thing? You know, I feel like his big problem is that he's incredibly loyal. And he just loves AJ, and he wants AJ to succeed. And so he just if you're going to blame Seidler for that, then you can. But I still love Seidler as an owner, and I would never trade him. Anyways, having said that, I know that we're kind of stuck with Queller, for the time being. So I'm done with the disappointment because I'm, exceedingly disappointed as a Padres fan. But I want to think about what to do. And here's what I think we should do. The dynamic in the clubhouse has been bad. And I feel that the main culprit has been Soto. And he's really the only guy that we can move. So I think that they should trade Soto, try and get, an above average arm, either bullpen or starter, major league level, an above average outfielder, major league level, and then a couple of AA prospects to go with Salas and Merrill in the minors.
So let me ask you this real quick, Marcos, because
yeah.
So if Juan Soto was signed to a 10-year deal, will you still feel the same way about him?
No. Well, because we can't move. I mean, he'd probably have a no trade clause where he wouldn't be able to move him.
So yeah,
I actually think that his attitude, if we had a 10-year deal, would be different. That's the thing I think about Soto, is that you see him at the All-Star game, and he's this exuberant, as like, oh, buddy, with everybody, and he's very closed off in San Diego. I mean, with his teammates, he's pretty exuberant sometimes, but with the media, with the fans, he's just kind of and it's because I don't think he thinks he's going to be in San Diego long term.
Marcos, appreciate the call. I think there's some interesting points in there. I would say this: the issue with the blame game is this is such a he said, she said. It's impossible to get to the bottom of it. Yeah. Is it Soto? Is it Machado? Is it whomever? And the issue with that is I don't know if there's a correct, right answer. And even if there is, do they know it? Are the people making decisions in the front office aware of the complexities and the quote unquote problem and willing to react and change because of it? Like, you're telling me they know right now that Juan Soto is the issue? I don't see that. They moved heaven and earth to acquire Juan Soto, and now he's the issue, and they need to move on from him to fix their clubhouse. Yeah. I don't know. That would be very surprising to me.
By the way, you go into the next year with an offseason. Like, imagine this is the Padres offseason after winning 74 games.
Mm-hmm.
You retain AJ Preller.
Right.
You fire Bob Melvin. You hire, I'll just say Ryan Flaherty. Okay. You trade Juan Soto. You don't re-sign Blake Snell. You don't re-sign Josh Hader. You end up signing, like, bringing back Michael Wacha and Seth Lugo and like Jerkson Profar, and you sign a couple more pieces that for 1-year deals because you're pretty hamstrung because of your payroll right now. How the hell do you sell that?
That's not going to be easy. I mean, you've kind of hypothetically gone through a lot there. May not happen. It may not happen. They may not move Juan Soto. They may not bring back their GM. They may not bring back their manager.
But would you agree that there's a lot there that
could happen?
That could happen?
A lot there that could happen. I mean,
everything. It's fine. Say Soto remains on the team. You still retain Preller. You fire Bob. You hire a first-time manager again. You don't re-sign Snell. You don't re-sign Hader. You go into the next year with pretty much the same roster with just a couple like low-level pieces. And then what?
You know how you sell that? I'll tell you how you sell it.
And you don't re-sign Gary Sanchez?
I'll tell you how you sell it. 40th anniversary of the 1984 Padres.
Oh, my gosh.
844-570-1360. Dave, you're on with Jon and Jim, and thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thanks for the great discussion today, guys. It's refreshing, and I commend both of you for the back and forth and allowing us to dialogue more than what we're going to hear out of the Padres. And that's basically my issue with that organization, is that everything with them seems to be a nuclear secret. And we'll, the issues that you bring up, guys, we're never going to know what the truth is, what the answers are. Understandably, some of this stuff you have to keep secret in-house, but there's so many other questions financially, for example, that they need to come clean with, and they owe it to the people that pay the bills, which is all of us. And So I'm with Jim here. I'm not expecting to see a whole lot of anything out of this organization after it's over, because that's not been the way they've done business. All we can do is look at the tea leaves, for example, on Bob Melvin. They have yet to extend this guy. And hell, Davey Martinez got extended with the Nationals and several weeks ago. So, if Davey Martinez can get extended for the Nationals, but you can't take one of the premier, at least was last year, one of the premier managers and extend him, no questions asked. What the hell does that say about what's going on in that front office? I don't know.
Dave, thank you. Your phone's cutting out. We appreciate the kind words, by the way, about the discussion. What does it say about Bob Melvin? Obviously, what does it say about the organization that other organizations in similar spots are acting, making decisions over the course of their disappointing season, and the Padres are waiting this thing out? Maybe it says they have no idea what they're going to do when the season ends.
What is their elimination number?
Ooh, I love that question, Jim. And I'm going to answer it for you coming up.
Like not division.
No, official elimination number.
Official elimination number. How far are they back right now?
Their elimination number.
They're 8 back
in the wild card. I'm going to guess it's somewhere between like 8 and 10. Hold on. Their elimination number is 10.
10.
So they still got there's a path with their 0.1% chance. No, there's no path. This number goes down every single night because there's a million teams in front of them right now. So there's literally no path. But why do you think the elimination matters once it's official, that they could then make a decision?
Yeah.
You do? They're going to say something. They're going to do something September 25th and not September 12th.
But I also think that we're at a point of the season now that like the point of making a move has officially passed.
Oh yeah, there's no getting rid of your manager.
No, what's the point?
Right.
For 2 weeks? Give me a break.
Now they did it with Tingler with 3 games to play. Something like that.
Like
for Rod Bras. Or was that Green?
No, they did that with Jace Tingler. They fired him before the season ended. No. They did not fire him before the season ended.
Oh yeah, we got the press release after the season.
He managed the full year, and then a couple days after, the third winningest manager, second winningest manager in Padres history has been let go. Give me a break.
So the Padres fired Andy Green on September 21st. They cited communication issues. And that's
Okay.
the article from Kevin Acey, September 21st, 2019.
And when did Tingler get fired?
Like you said, it was in October.
It was after the season ended, I think. Right?
I think you're right. He was fired October 6th.
So after the season ended,
on Wednesday, 3 days after the Padres finished 79 and 83, third place in the NL West, 28 games behind the San Francisco Giants. More of the same. 2019, how many games are they out? 2021, how many games are they out? 2023, same thing.
Yeah, I've said this multiple times. If nothing changes, nothing changes. That's steadfast here. I said it in 2021. Said it, 2019. Like, it's just, if you remain status quo here, good luck.
All right, on the other side, we have breaking Padres news related to a player that will not play the rest of the season for San Diego, plus Jim's back page next. All right, breaking Padres news as a Padres player has been shut down for the rest of the season. An update on the Midwest League playoffs with the Padres affiliate in action, plus Jim's back page next. Not surprisingly, Yu Darvish shut down. Bone spurs, rest of the season.
Season's over.
We told you a month ago, shut him down. They listened. We said shut down. Musgrove, that's next. You'll hear that tomorrow. Musgrove shut down. You'll hear once that elimination number hits 0, to your point, Jim, unless Manny fights him tooth and nail, which he may, Manny will be shut down at some point.
There's no point, Manny.
Right?
Stop. Like
the only thing I could see him wanting to keep playing is
pile.
if he has incentives in his contract that says if I hit X amount of RBIs or home runs, I might get a bonus.
350. I think the 350 is all in from Peter, right?
Manny makes his own rules. If Manny wants to play, Manny's going to play.
Guess what Manny wants to do? He wants to hit 30 home runs, not 29.
Yep.
He wants to have 100. I'm making this up. 150 hits, not 149. Right? To get to 3,000 hits, you need to play. And he's played a lot. That's one thing he's done in his career.
Manny makes the rules. That's plain and simple. No one in this organization can go to Manny and be like, hey, we're shutting you down. Manny will look back at them and say, yeah, no, you're not.
By the way, the Tin Caps, Padres affiliate in the Midwest League in the postseason, now leading the Dodgers affiliate, the Loons, in this best-of-3 series, 5-0.
It's the greatest team I've ever seen in my entire life.
In the 8th inning.
I mean, the Loons suck.
No, Loons are very good, but the Tin Caps are beating them.
That's what I mean. The Tin Caps are way better than the Loons.
What would you consider to be a bigger upset? Tin Caps over Loons in this postseason or Padres over Dodgers in last year's postseason? What would resonate more?
Oh,
Tin Caps
over Loons, easily.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's get to it.
McDonald's is coming out with a big change to their restaurants. Yeah. McDonald's is getting rid of one of the biggest perks. The fast food chain is eliminating its self-serve soda machines by 2032.
2032?
At its U.S. restaurants. explaining that the change will make the experience consistent for customers and crews across the chain.
Dude, the like Machado deal will be over by then. 2032 is in 8+ years, 9 years.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
To get rid of them?
Why?
What was the reason?
Just to make the experience more consistent. But how does that make you more consistent? Then you have to
Is it because people steal?
Probably.
I don't care. It doesn't matter to me if, the person that's getting paid to give me my food wants to actually pour my Coke into the cup, then go for it.
But don't you get refill? Like if I'm at McDonald's and I buy a Coke,
get a refill.
I get a refill, right?
Better get a refill.
Yeah. You'll still get one.
They're probably saving a lot of money if they give you the Coke and then you don't get a refill.
But I'm not paying for a refill.
You'd still get a refill. You just have to
Go with them.
fill it.
By 2032, why not just rip the Band-Aid? If you're getting rid of the soft drinks machine, get rid of it now.
When's the last time you went to a fast food place? 2020, never?
Never.
I don't mind it because half the time it doesn't. It's like, it's not at ice cream machine levels yet, but half the time it doesn't work anyways. Like if you go to like Wendy's, it's like, oh, cool. They have that, the Coke freestyle machine. And then it's like, oh, sorry. 30 of the 50 flavors of Coke aren't working at the moment, or we're out of the syrup. And so I don't really care. If they want to pour it, then pour it. I don't care.
All right. Moving on. Hold on. Dairy Queen.
Love Dairy Queen.
Yep.
Between September 11th, which was yesterday, and September 24th, Dairy Queen will be selling small blizzards for a total of 85 cents, marking their anniversary and when the blizzard treat was invented in 1985. How you can cash in on this offer is you need to get the Dairy Queen app on your phone. You'll have to download it.
I'm doing that right now.
And become a DQ Rewards member to score the one-time deal. Also, the item menus that you can get for 85 cents will be the Fluffer Nutter Blizzard Treat.
Incredible.
It's a new flavor made with soft serve Reese's candies, peanut butter, and a marshmallow center. Pumpkin Pie Blizzard Treat. The Snickerdoodle Cookie Dough Blizzard Treat. The Caramel Fudge Cheesecake Blizzard. The Oreo Hot Cocoa Blizzard. The Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Pie Blizzard. And the Cocoa Dipped Strawberry Blizzard Treat. Those are the options to get 85-cent small blizzards.
I'm signing up right now.
That's good. And finally, RIP to Lolita's, man. Did you hear about this?
No, I have not.
Lolita's downtown is shutting its doors.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
The East Village staple, popular restaurant across the street from Petco Park, announced that September 24th will be its last day of business, marking its 15-year run as the restaurant downtown.
Dairy Queen wants to know my birthday.
Give it to him.
Okay. Were you saying something? I'm downloading this app.
I said Lolita's going out of business September 24th, last day.
We need to go there. We have so many things to do. Dairy Queen, Lolita's.
You know where we never went? We never went to
I was just going to say
Batman 2.
The Sonic pop-up restaurant.
The Sonic Pop. So it's your fault because that was your idea.
I have a kid. All right, if you missed anything today, sportssd.com.
I also have a wife. Leave the kid with a wife.
iTunes, TuneIn Radio, Spotify. Find us on YouTube, by the way. Search for Jon and Jim 760. Find us on social media at Jon and Jim, JONANDJIM. We're back tomorrow at 3, theoretically. For Brent and Jim, I'm Jon. Keep it here. It's the all-new. That's not really. It's San Diego Sports 760.
Time for Ahsoka, baby.
What are you talking about? Okay.